Hey everyone, welcome to another edition of Extra Time. This is the Brazil versus Japan watch along a couple minutes before kickoff, and we'll see the lineups going up. So like I said, I hope everybody is hearing me okay, and welcome. We've been doing a lot of live streams. The second round of 32 World Cup 2026 knockout match takes place today. Brazil playing a 3-4-3, Brazil playing a 4-3-3. And of course, I want to say a special thank you to everyone because my last stream got 10,000 views on Facebook, on YouTube, and everything else. It's growing. So I put this together in a hurry. I wasn't feeling tip-top, folks. I'm a bit under the weather. Not very in between. So I hope I recover as the tournament goes along. Like I said, folks, if you're just joining us, Brazil are taking on Japan. And as you all know, before heading into the World Cup, Japan played Brazil, and the result was not very favorable for Brazil. So I'm loading up my scoreline here, folks. Let's see. All right. So like I said, folks, I did a lot of games. A lot of people have been asking me about doing other games. So I'm doing it now. So I'm going to do it as we speak here. So I'm setting up my clock as we speak. And it's about to kick off, folks. It's about to kick off. I was cutting it really close today. So let me make sure and set this up. And both teams are lined up. I'm seeing the countdown has begun. 2, 1. I'm seeing the kickoff on the screen, but I'm not seeing it. And they're off, folks. Brazil takes on Japan in the first, well, it's actually the second round of 32 knockout games. Japan has a great record against Brazil so far. And, I honestly am intrigued by this game. Brazil want to restamp their authority on the world stage. And everybody else, they're trying to really ascertain where Brazil is right now. So the clock is up. I hope everybody's hearing me okay. Like I said, my energy levels are a little bit low. I didn't advertise this stream a lot. So everybody out there who's watching, if there are any Brazil fans, Brazil, let me know. This is a massive matchup, and we're live on YouTube, Twitch, and Facebook. I will be monitoring everything else, including my TikTok as well. In fact, let me do that. I can't find it right now. Where did I put my phone? But anyway, I'll be doing that as soon as I get a chance. But I wanted to make sure the stream is up and running. It's heavy raining in Trinidad and Tobago. So it's 60 seconds in. Brazil are taking on Japan, folks. And I know there's a lot of Brazil fans, a lot of people saying, hey, are you going to stream other games and do watch along? So I'm definitely doing that. So Brazil, I'm interested to see. This is, I don't want to say their first real test, but I think this is where the World Cup really begins, the knockout stages. I saw a lot of strong comments from Jose Mourinho and Carlos Queiroz saying that they're not huge fans of this expanded format. So, folks, you could let me know, first off, if you're hearing me okay. And secondly, what do you think about the expanded format? Some people say it's watering down the tournament. Some people say that it's not. So just to give you a little insight, Brazil with a little bit of pressure very early on, getting a bit of a half chance. And the Brazilian fans, the Brazilian players riling up the fans. And I mean, it's I don't know, sometimes it comes off as a bit like trying too hard sometimes. I mean, I get that you're trying to rile up the fans. Maybe he's annoyed. He thinks the Brazilian fans should be a bit more on their feet. So Bruno, trying to rail up the fans there, folks. So we're just a couple seconds in. Brazil versus Japan. And like I said, we're live on TikTok, Facebook, and so on. Brazil with their first set piece. 2 minutes and 12 seconds in. Japan is the kind of team that are very attack-minded. They're not going to sit back and park the bus. They will take it to you. Brazil whipping it in, but well cleared by Japan. So, folks, let me know if you're a fan of Japan. I know a couple of people who I know support Japan. I like their football program. So we'll see how Ancelotti and his men handle this particular situation. I'm literally looking for my phone to keep an eye on the TikTok, and I don't know where I put it. That's absolutely crazy. That's kind of funny. I actually don't know where it is. But anyway, so like I said, people, be sure we're trying to get to that 10,000 subscriber mark as well. We're trying to get those subs up. That's our goal for the World Cup, and it really helps the channel. But in the meantime, of course, if you're a fan of Japan or Brazil, drop a sub, drop a comment. Let's get things active. I did not promote this game as much because I didn't know I was going to do this game, folks. But now that we're getting to the knockout stages, it's a bit more manageable. I'll also be doing my round. I did my round of 32 predictions, which will be uploaded soon. Obviously, Canada played already, and by the end of this, we'll see what happens in Brazil. So Hajime Moriyazu. I hope I'm pronouncing that correctly. My camera guy actually does a lot of work in Japan and so on, and he's not here, and that's terrible. Should feel ashamed of himself. I'm harassing him, of course. So Brazil, a very theatrical dive there by, is that Bruno? That is really, even the crowd I kind of gestured him to get up. That was pretty terrible. Candice, come on, Japan. I have to admit, the kind of gesturing to the crowd and the dive did seem a bit theatrical to me. It didn't seem really authentic. So Casemiro, Marquinhos with their combined experience with a nice touch there. So, like I said, Brazil, this is not the Brazil of the past. Vinicius getting in there. Where, we had, Brazil had these reference points of Adriano and Ronaldo and Romario and these guys in the past. But now Vinicius seems to be the guy that Ancelotti has unlocked for Brazil. Now, the pros are Vinicius he's scoring a lot of goals. You were not getting the best out of Vinicius with the previous coaches, with Dorival and those guys, and Diniz. But this time around, Ancelotti is familiar with him with Real Madrid. And Brazil are not going to play that samba attacking football all the time. They are going to play their counter-attacking style. You can see the Carlo Ancelotti influence. And Japan is the kind of team that are going to attack you. They're very confident. They're very organized. And they have improved vastly. A lot of people acting like they improved overnight, but they have been improving their football since all the way in the early 2000s, approaching the year 2000 and so on. And you're starting to see the rewards of their work. And folks, Brazil fans, like I said, I just saw Umi Maischai has followed. Welcome. They had a friendly before the World Cup, folks. So anybody in the chat as well, you could let me know what you know about that score. Because, folks, when you follow all the socials and subscribe and follow me on Instagram and YouTube and Facebook and everywhere, you automatically qualify for a chance to win a football jersey of your choice, club or country, or a copy of EA27 when we have our draw. And we'll be having a couple. We already had one winner a couple of months ago. It was Mark Molino. So congratulations to you. So Brazil working their way down the wings. We've seen in the World Cup so far that Vinicius is very much a reference point. Rafinha was injured. So I'm sure they're going to miss him. But as you can see here, and, teams will be watching this, a lot of the attacks go down that side that Vinicius is on. He's clearly their reference point. So, Vinicius drawing a foul there. And everybody knows Vinicius is a bit of a theatrical character. So everybody in the chat here right now, if you're a fan of Brazil, let me know. If you're a fan of Japan, let me know. If you're a fan of neither, let me know. We're in the round of 32. Canada is already through to the round of 16. And we'll see how it goes here with Brazil and Japan. So we're 6 minutes in. Brazil 0, Japan 0. And I was feeling a little bit under the weather, folks. But now that I see the viewers coming in, I'm starting to feel a little bit better. So I really appreciate the kind words, folks. I'm trying to monitor my TikTok as well. So Brazil with a free kick. And fumbled by the keeper. Usually the keeper is given the benefit of the doubt here. So I'm just going to take a quick look at the TikTok and see if everything's okay. And so far, so good, folks. So far, so good. So if everybody in the TikTok, of course, give me a follow as well. Because we are trying to get to that mark. It really helps the channel, folks. It really helps the channel. And also, you can head over to extvmedia.com. We have a wonderful partnership with SofaScore, who provides us with data-driven analysis. And we will be having some, match previews with Gaston Hoffman of SofaScore. A nice shot of Neymar on the bench there. A lot of Brazilians pretty much willed him into the national team. He has been plagued by physical injuries since the last World Cup. He did not have a great spell in Saudi Arabia. And, now he's back in the Brazil squad. He got a couple minutes against Scotland. And, we'll see, if Neymar has a lot to say. I think it's understood, and probably Carlo Ancelotti had that discussion with Neymar. Hey, listen, you're not going to be that figure at the forefront in the past like you were for Brazil. He's a little bit older. You could see the injuries has taken its toll on his body. But I'm sure they discussed his part to play and, gauging his minutes. Maybe later in the competition, who knows? A late substitution that could come on and cause some problems. He still has very exceptional technique. He can deliver the ball well. He can take on players, but his durability. And that, I think, may be the concern for all the Brazil fans. So I just saw, like I said, welcome Umi Maisha Shai has followed. Let me know where you're from. I just saw a subscriber started following. I can't pronounce your name. Forgive me. I can't read the language, but I'm assuming is that I don't know. I can't translate. But welcome. Has followed on Facebook as well. So everybody in the live stream as well. Let me know where in the world you're watching the World Cup. It is more than likely I'm going to be in the States soon. So, I'll be doing some watch-alongs there as well. So, I will be arranging to maybe if my fans or viewers in the US of EXTV, the EXTV Ultras could come in. Once again, Brazil going out to their left side where Vinicius is. And, that seems to be their reference point for attack. They go down the right side, try to pull Japan out of shape, and then get to Vinicius. And then also, if you watch Ancelotti's style of play with Real Madrid, he does have a tendency to not be afraid to concede possession, have strong midfielders, and sort of let the attacking players express themselves. Just attack. There's not too much rigidity in his attack. So, like I said, folks, I didn't plan this stream. This was a bit of a last-minute thing. Brazil inside, a ball in, not a very great cross. Paqueta having the ball poked away at the last minute. Japan blocking it really well. Brazil shorting for a handball. I figured that was a little bit desperate. It seems like they're really trying really hard to get on the refs, I don't know, bad side, because he seems annoyed by a lot of their calls. So Brazil starting to put a little bit of pressure. Not a very great header. So Brazil starting to slowly exert some pressure on Japan. So like I said, folks, if you have been following, I'm not going to say it, but Brazil and Japan had a friendly before this tournament. So you all could drop a comment in the comment section below and let me know, how that game turned out. I will tell you guys in a couple of minutes, but I just want to see if you guys know. Like I said, I didn't tell a lot of people I was doing this stream. I've been doing the Argentina streams, which got 10,000 likes and growing. The Scotland stream got 14,000 views and growing. And the first Argentina stream got 35,000 views and growing. So I really appreciate the support, folks, all over the planet. And continue to support. Of course, there's a QR code on the side of the screen there. You can scan if you want to join the WhatsApp notification group. You can do that as well. So like I said, folks, I'm trying to keep track of my TikTok, but I don't know where my phone is, which is crazy. So Japan getting a little bit of possession now in the middle of the pitch, folks. Like I said, people in the chat, let me know where you're from when you get a chance. Like I said, I didn't tell a lot of people this. I know a lot of people were surprised by this stream, but I'm trying to do a bit more games. Japan, some neat passing in the midfield, spreading the ball out to the left side. In swinging cross. Marquinhos heading the ball out. Japan now starting to apply a little bit of pressure. Japan is not the kind of team that would just park the bus. They are very fast, mobile, organized, and dynamic. They can't take you on. The Brazilian players, since the game started, seem to be very much complaining a lot to the ref. And, this is one thing that's a little bit different. Now, Brazilian players are full of flair and, passionate, but, they do... I think this Brazil team is a team that lacks a little bit of confidence. They do tend to go on the side of the theatrical lately, and I think that's an extension of Vinicius, rightfully or wrongfully so, whether you all agree or not. So folks in the chat, let me know, are you supporting Japan or Brazil? Brazil! And like I said, folks, I was feeling a little bit under the weather, so I'm drinking my electrolytes and so on here. This takes a lot out of me, so I really appreciate all the support that everybody is giving. I know I'm from Trinidad and Tobago, folks. There's a lot of Brazilian fans here. And I want to say one thing as well. I've been seeing a lot of banter, which is normal during the World Cup, but a lot of people seem to be crossing the lines. And I get passion. I'm a very passionate fan, but we have to ensure that it doesn't go in that bad direction. Trini photographer, Japan. Of course. Today I'm supporting Japan. And not because I hate Brazil. I actually think Japan is a good team. For the casuals, I guess they may be surprised. But Japan has been improving drastically since the early 2000s. So people who can go far back. A lot of people who has been following football will remember players like Nakata, Nagatomo from Inter Milan, Nakamura, and a couple others. And Japan, if you all didn't know, played Brazil in a friendly and won. Now, did Brazil learn from this? Are Brazil going to score when it matters? Brazil with a shot there, and I believe the Japanese keeper not taking any chances. Yes, it was a shot. It went wide. Well, it was saved. Low shot, not particularly with too much pace, but enough to trouble the keeper. Perhaps, showing a little bit of nerves and taking no chances. Brazil with a nice set of combination play there. Bruno just heading the ball wide and passing the ball wide. The Newcastle man. Trying to find a stream to watch live. Any recommendations? Trini, I would go on Rush Sports if you have Rush Sports. If you don't have Rush Sports, if you have cable, you should have Rush Sports. If not, chat. Help her out there, folks. Let her know where she can watch the game. So Japan here now on the attack. Not afraid to take their players on. Number 14 fouled. I couldn't see his name. So that's yes. And this is where Brazil, Marquinhos and Casemiro. Is it a foul on Casemiro? So this is a very dangerous spot for Japan, folks. Free kicks now. It's not like back in the day. These players have now, it was Casemiro, I think. Casemiro with a yellow card. And that's the problem you may have with somebody like Casemiro in that defensive midfield position. He's a great player, one of the best defensive midfielders around, but he has lost a bit of space. And I think the speed of that player, he also intelligently got between the player and the ball, which forced Casemiro into that difficult position. Because if he left him, he would have been free on goal. So Alisson in goal, setting his wall. This is what you call, these days in football, is so much analysis and preparation for free kicks that free kicks are almost like spot kicks now. So no raw spots here. Oh my gosh. People in the chat, let me know. You could send a link and help out. But I'll keep you updated in the meantime, Trini. So Paqueta is lying down in front of the wall there. So like I said, folks, my energy levels may not be its usual tip-top. It takes a lot of work to do these things, folks. A lot of work and traveling and back and forth. So I am feeling it now. But now it's going to be a bit more manageable as we get to the round of 32 and the round of 16. Let me know what you think about the draw. Let me know what you think about that. People in the TikTok as well, let me know what you're thinking as well. And be sure to subscribe, like, and follow. It really helps the channel. So free kick. Low free kick. Blocked by the Brazilian wall there. So it's now a corner. I think Kamara was trying to get under the wall. Let's take a look at the replay. And I think it was well read. Paqueta was on the ground. I'm seeing the original R9 and Roberto Carlos there. I'm seeing Infantino, who I had the pleasure of meeting a couple times. If you don't believe me, go to my Instagram because apparently people are like that. So, corner for Japan. 16 minutes in, it's 0-0. Come on, Japan. So it's clearly the majority in the stadium are Brazilian. It's like a home game for Brazil. Ball not cleared well, but eventually cleared. Brazil, of course, you can see the attempt is to try to release Vinicius. And this is what I was telling you all, folks. Japan is not afraid to attack, but not in the end there. An overlapping run in the end, not linking well. The Japanese coach applauding his players. And I'm trying to keep an eye on my TikTok, and I don't know where my phone is, folks. This is crazy. It probably fell down somewhere. I guess, I don't know. I want to keep an eye on my TikTok. So I did have some issues. So I'm trying to make sure it's okay, that it's up and running. So folks, everybody in there, if you're watching on TikTok, like I didn't announce this to a lot of people. So we're live on YouTube, TikTok, Twitch, and Facebook. So folks, I really appreciate that, the support. I will be doing my round of 32 predictions after this game. We already know Canada is through, and at the end of this game, we know who's going to go through. So I'll do the rest. That video will be up on TikTok as well. I may do it live. Who knows? It's going to be interactive. I'll do it on the other studio. So, folks, like I said, start letting me know. What do you think about the brackets? What do you think about Brazil's chances? What do you think about Japan, folks? What do you think about the expanded World Cup? A lot of Jose Mourinho and Carlos Queiroz saying they're not happy with it. He says it waters down the tournament. Some people say yes, some people say no. So Japan, I think, getting a handball there. So they will not be happy with themselves with that. That's a wasted opportunity in the Brazil area. But that's just sometimes the pace of the game. The physicality of the other team will allow that. So no rush spots there. So folks, help out. Trini Photographer, I hope Japan and everybody else in the TikTok stream, I hope you guys are hearing me okay. Like I said, don't forget to like, subscribe, and share. Click that notification bell because it really helps, folks. And of course, we have a merch store where you can purchase stuff. It's delivered globally. And you can also make super chats, which really goes towards helping the channel as well, folks. It takes a lot of work. It takes a lot of work, folks. I literally have my weeks planned in advance. But I do it because you all make this possible. And having this global audience makes it a lot of fun, folks. And I know sometimes some people miss the stream. But just a reminder, the last stream it's 10,000 and growing. The other one is 14,000 and growing. And the first one is 35,000 and growing. So, share with your friends and, encourage everybody join in. Let's get into that World Cup fun. Let me know where you're watching from. I did not announce the stream, so I know I'm seeing viewers in the stream. So I know a lot of people may be caught off guard. But we're approaching the 20th minute mark. No real clear chances for both teams. Brazil playing... as I keep telling people, so the folks who haven't been following South American football, you're not going to see the Brazil samba where they're passing the ball around the field and keeping long bouts of beautiful possession. Ancelotti is the kind of guy, he's not afraid to play effective football. If he has to sit back and defend and rely on the counter-attack, he'll do that. And that's what they've done so far. The watch-along we did with James and myself where Scotland played against Brazil, we did see some weaknesses. Scotland, James was here, folks. The former Scottish goalkeeper was here with me in the studio, and he'll be back. He's in Poland right now. Both of us are traveling back and forth, folks, and it's very, very demanding. I could tell it's already taking its toll on my body. Brazil almost pickpocketing Japan there, but Japan looking very composed. And it shows you how, literally the commentators cursed there, folks. As soon as I said Japan was composed, they gave away a stray ball. Vinicius in his favorite position down that side, crossing in. Not very well cleared by Japan. So Brazil applying pressure down that left side as expected. But still, with all things considered, keeping their shape, showing their composure. I just said they were composed right now, a little while ago, and they gave away the ball. So, Trini, are you hearing me okay? Everybody in Facebook, are you hearing me okay? TikTok, are you hearing me okay? I'm not sure why I can't find my phone. I literally ran in here. That's really crazy. Whoever knows my number, call my phone so I could hear it. I definitely brought it in a little while ago. Maybe I left it in the car. Maybe at halftime I'll have to go get it. So, folks, in case you're wondering, that QR code on the side of the screen, a lot of people have been asking to get notifications and updates. You can scan that and get into the EXTV channel update where you'll get the latest updates from not just the YouTube watch-alongs, the reactions, news, and social media content, as well as the EAFC content. And whatever latest news we have, you all will get it first there. So it'll be easier for everybody to get that. So, yeah. And also, you can head over to extvmedia.com if you want to go into the deep dives of analysis. It's not generic news. And we've partnered up with SofaScore. So 21 minutes in Brazil, Casemiro and company passing the ball around. And I'm not saying Vincent company, folks. That's another guy. So probing, I love to say that word. Bruno passing the ball around and trying to attempt to stretch and destabilize the Japanese defense, but passing the ball harmlessly out of play, which Ancelotti's probably not going to be happy about. I'm right. Like, if you see his expression, he looks a little bit annoyed. That was a very much an unforced error there. I think it was by Paqueta. Ronaldinho is in the crowd, folks, and I think that's Oscar next to him. So, Ronaldinho, Brazilian fans obviously love him and other neutrals as well. A lot of people are saying, if he really took care of himself, he could have probably had a longer career, longevity-wise. But the couple of years he did play, he was definitely a magnificent player. So hearing me good, okay, yeah, because I put a lot of effort into these mics and so on, folks. And, a lot of people have been asking about my equipment and my setup. Maybe I'll do a tutorial one of these days. So my rush feed just glitched there for a second. So like I said, folks, even if you're not supporting Japan or Brazil, let me know what you think, predictions. Who do you think is going to win? Brazil drawing a foul there. They are being rather theatrical. Cunha, the Manchester United man, is looking for a foul. But from let's take a look at the replay. Let's see. Let's give him the benefit of the doubt. So he runs in. He goes to the byline. And it is a foul. I don't think it's a malicious foul that deserves a yellow. There was no contact with the ball. The Japanese player trying to... you could see he pulled back, but it should be a bit of a foul there. So I think it's our first hydration break. Wow, we're already 23 minutes in. That time flew by really fast. That time flew back really fast. So I can't find my phone, which is hilarious. So like I said, people in Facebook, TikTok and so on, we're live everywhere. And I know there's a lot of Brazil fans. We are now in the knockout stages of the World Cup, folks. A round of 32. Usually it's a round of 16, but because of the expanded World Cup, what do you think about the teams that made it? What do you think about the third place teams? A lot of people like and dislike that. Some people saying it's beautiful for the smaller teams. Some people saying you're rewarding mediocrity. And, the cream of the crop should be in this. So, let me know your opinions. And, of course, folks on Facebook as well, Twitch, everywhere else, TikTok. Let me know what you think about this game. I know there's a lot of Brazil fans. I know there's a lot of people who work in Trinidad and Tobago. I know there's a lot of viewers outside Trinidad and Tobago. But Brazil! I'm an Argentina fan, folks. Everybody knows that. I'm not going to hide that. I would not really be sad if they lose today. I'm being honest. That's me being authentic. But that's not because I hate Brazil. Because I think Japan is a solid team. I don't think there are any really bad teams anymore, folks. Anybody who says they're bad teams is, everybody's entitled to their opinion. But anybody who really follows football will know the playing field has leveled up. A lot of these teams, they're no longer, the old stereotypes don't apply anymore. A lot of these teams have advanced with their coaching, their analysis. The coaching standards have raised all over the globe. It's very much normalized. And each team now has more confidence and preparation and science involved, something Trinidad and Tobago should do. They actually tap into their full diaspora. We don't do that. So, things like that, folks. So, like I said, folks, we had a couple live streams before. We had one with Terry Fennick, who played against Diego Maradona in 1986, the former England international. We had the England versus Croatia game live, so you could take a look at that on YouTube. We didn't do that one on Facebook, so you could check that one out. We also have our hilarious reactions on TikTok and also some hot takes as well, so we'll be doing that as well. And for everybody out there who's watching, like I said, if my energy levels are not its usual self, is because I am working on a tight schedule, folks. It's very demanding, and I'm doing this for you all. I'm doing this for you all. So everybody who's on Facebook and so on, be sure to share with your friends, your kids, everybody else. And join in. This World Cup is one of the most connected World Cups ever. And we can now join in and have a lot of fun. And also, let me know what you all think about the hydration breaks. Let me know what you all think about the hydration breaks. A lot of people don't like them. I understand a lot of people saying it's a FIFA money grab. And I can understand why some people are saying that. But I'll be honest, I think it was necessary for the players' health. Anybody who understands that aspect of the game understood that, hydration was becoming a serious issue. Players were, falling down on the pitch, getting even more serious consequences, and they had to acknowledge it. Some players adapted the conditions better, but, safety first. That's just like how they had the rules for concussions. So, Japan, the play resuming here now. Japan making another attack. Down the wings, trying to cut back, forcing a corner. So like I said, folks, Japan are a very competent team in attack. They're very organized. They're very fit. And, they have improved greatly. And they did defeat Brazil in a friendly. Of course, this is where it matters, folks. The World Cup. You win or you go home. It's as simple as that, folks. Brazil. Steven Guerrero. What's up, Steven? Steven, are you in El Paso, Steven? Steven, I wasn't even supposed to do this game, but a lot of people asked for it, so I'm doing it now. So I'm seeing people both on YouTube, TikTok, and Twitch. Wow, a header from Japan. Over the bar, folks. Like I said, folks, underestimate Japan at your own peril. Underestimate Japan at your own peril. They played them in a friendly before, and they defeated Brazil. And the last couple of years, I shouldn't say the last couple of years, since the early 2000s, Japan has been improving their football. For the real analytics guys like me, we've been watching that. Any real football fan will know this. So, Japan, for the people who are surprised, you shouldn't be. If you're basing this on history, Brazil should be the outright favorites, but a lot has changed. A lot has changed. Steven, I'm driving home. That's great. I'm glad I'm showing some love, Steven, from Houston. Oh, wow. Steven, I'll be heading to the States soon. Maybe you could come to Miami and meet me. Drive down. And bring me a Cattleman steak when you're coming. So, let me know, Steven and Sheena and everybody. Hello to everybody. And I know you guys were at a couple games as well. So, Steven, make sure to subscribe as well. Don't make me come up there and find you. And folks, it really helps the channel. You know, we already crossed the 3,000 mark. We got 10,000 views on the last video, 15,000 videos on the last Facebook video, and 35,000 on the Argentina-Algeria game. So, you know, like I said, I did not announce this game. Usually, we promote it a lot. So this probably is catching a lot of people off guard. So everybody's in here. Feel free to, like, comment, subscribe, and share. Follow us on all the socials as well. Scan the QR code to join our EXTV group. I created that specifically because the fans asked for it. You can get your updates and so on everything that we're doing, watch-alongs, or daily wrap-ups, social media content, gaming streams, watch-along streams, and all those things. And, of course, James will be returning. Japan winning the ball high up the pitch, taking on his man. Taking a shot, driven shot. Goal! Japan, folks! Japan 1, Brazil 0. That's what I'm talking about, folks. That's what I'm talking about. Underestimate Japan at your peril. Heed the words of I. Is this game over? So we're approaching the 30th minute. A beautiful shot from Japan. Taking on his man outside the box. A low-driven effort into the corner for Brazil. Alisson, who's a top keeper, could do nothing about it. So Sano, people from Japan. Brazil are probably saying, Oro. If you know, you know. Japan, folks, wow. Wow, Japan. Lawrence, my guy, you should be here at this game. What's the matter with you? It's a World Cup. So he ran past his man. What a precise shot. He ran past two Brazilian players and placed it in the corner from a massive distance. It was outside the box, perfectly driven. And this, I am not surprised by this, folks. Is anybody on Facebook and everybody else surprised by this? So, for people who don't follow the game as obsessively as I do, I'm not entirely surprised. Does it mean that this game is over? Of course not. The Japanese fans are euphoric right now. Vinicius is unhappy, understandably so. You know, this is make or break time, folks. So Brazil are going to have to react now. Ancelotti is going to have to use all his experience to calm his players down. Brazil do have the players that can create a moment of magic. So, you know, it's a long way to go, folks. But Japan are going to be very happy with their overall play and getting that goal. And maybe it may build their confidence. But as I said, folks, before the tournament started, Japan played a friendly against Brazil and defeated them. So what a goal. Trini photographer, I know you're happy right now. I know you're supporting Japan. So Stephen, wherever you are, driving. Japan 1, Brazil 0. Very forceful tackle, but clean by Japan there. So Brazil now are going to have to react and be careful. And this is where Ancelotti is going to have to show his calm, as we call him, the eyebrow man, the former Real Madrid, AC Milan coach. Also had a brief stint at Everton. Wasn't very memorable. You know, he was also at Chelsea as well. So, you know, Ancelotti's the kind of guy, well-respected coach at club level. You know, he was brought in. Brazil were chasing him a while now to get him onto the national team after Dorival and Diniz did not do a good job with Brazil after they got the 4-1 beat down from Argentina. They decided enough is enough. They need to fix things, and they brought in Carlo Ancelotti. He was a popular choice. And I think Brazil got away with one there. They seem to be more on the theatrical side, which I haven't seen in a while from Brazil. I mean, I've been watching them in qualifiers, but it is a foul. Make no mistake, it is a foul. So that does hurt, folks. So anybody who says that doesn't hurt. So I take it back with the theatrical comments. When you play football, I don't care what anybody says. You get those studs running at full speed into your foot with these Nike boots that I'm not a huge fan of. It hurts. It absolutely hurts. So Candice saying Japan scored, yes. And they scored a brilliant goal, folks. They scored a brilliant goal. So now Brazil with a free kick outside the box. On the left side, the Brazilian fans are chanting. Paqueta on the ball. Number 20 for Brazil. Let's see Brazil, Marquinhos. There's a couple people that are good on the ball. Casemiro, Marquinhos. And that's right, it did land to Marquinhos, but not connecting well enough and hitting the ball wide. Much to Japan's pleasure. So, folks, if you're just joining us, the 5-time champions Brazil, TikTok, everybody else, are losing 1-0 to Japan with a beautiful goal around the 30th minute. Bruno and everybody, they're very angry. And like I said, we have a game here, folks. And like I said, we'll be doing lots of watch-alongs. And Brazil are going to have to react to this, folks. And we expect a reaction. But Japan is a very dangerous team. If you decide to attack a lot, they can't get you on the counter-attack. They do play with speed and precision. As expected, they're going through Vinicius, trying to do that combination play on the top of the box. Vinicius likes to go down that side and then cut onto his right foot. And he has been very effective since Carlo Ancelotti took over. Carlo Ancelotti knows him from Real Madrid, so he knows how to get the best out of him. But one of the concerns a lot of people have been asking, with Vinicius being your main outlet, it does limit Brazil in an attacking sense. And then you're relying on Casemiro, who's a great player, but it's going to be difficult. So Brazil with 63% possession and Japan 31 and 6% in contest. So we have a lot of stats, folks. A lot of stats. I saw the camera zooming in on somebody there, but I don't know who that is. It could be an NBA player, but I don't know who that is. I can't recognize him. Maybe somebody in the chat will. So Japan doing well. Brazil players running into each other. That was a little bit comical, considering the caliber of players they have. A little miscommunication there. So Brazil, once again, patient. Heavily relying on the attacks on the right side. So they're spreading the ball to the right and then quickly switching to the left, trying to pull Japan out of position so that way Vinicius could get the attack in. A crossing not well cleared. Out wide to Vinicius in his dangerous area. That's his favorite area. Brazil getting a shot. Japan doing well to block that shot. Brazil once again still on the attack. Vinicius in that favorite spot of his on the left side taking on his players. Him and Paqueta trying to combine, but Japan very persistent and doing well to calmly get the ball out, trying to start a counter-attack, but then giving the ball away. So it's a little bit scrappy from Japan. And now getting a goal kick. So Japan, to their credit, not panicking, not trying to clear the ball out, but Brazil, quickly trying to regain possession. So once again, a replay. What a goal, folks. Running past, I think it was Casemiro. So Sano. Stand up, son. Sano. You should be proud of that. Stand up, man. Stand up. And applaud yourself. That was a brilliant shot. And I love that all the smaller teams are not afraid. Japan, as I was singing their praises, had a ridiculous giveaway on top of their box of Vinicius. They are going to be very mad at themselves. I can't remember who it was, but the Japanese centre-back just giving the ball away. But to be fair, they are reacting calmly. No desperate lunges. But they would not be very happy with that unnecessary giveaway. So I'm seeing Emmanuel. Go Japan. As a non-Brazil fan, I would be happy if Japan could pull off the victory. Same here. I'm not going to hide that I'm not a fan of Brazil. So Japan now on the counter-attack here, which can work in their favor. And did they draw a throw-in? So a throw-in for Japan. So Japan now, Brazil as expected, applying the pressure to Japan. Of course, you expect a reaction. So they're going to attack, which will kind of play into Japan's favor. However, a couple minutes ago, Japan uncharacteristically did a giveaway in their own area. Japan justifiably asking for a foul there, but not getting it. Ref gesturing for the player to get up. So play goes on. Casemiro looking for options. Gesturing passionately to his players. Almost in annoyance. Where are my players? Where's my movement? So Casemiro using his experience, calming things down. He looks a little bit annoyed. I'm guessing he's not happy with the movement of his players. Paqueta as well, dropping deep. Brazil, like I said, folks, they're not going to play at speed. But once again, they're going down that left side. And the attempt is to try to get to Vinicius. So they're probing and going from side to side. And clearly, the final product is to try to get to Vinicius. So Brazil trying to do some combination play. Japan doing well to throw Vinicius off. I think the combination play of Brazil, I see what they're trying to do. They're trying to slow the game enough down and then try to do some quick passes on top of the box there to really create some problems for Japan. But Japan are keeping their shape. But, at some point in the 90th minute, if you keep doing those combinations, you're going to catch a defender off. It's going to take immaculate discipline. And that's what you need to have at this level, folks. This is what you need to have at this level. I'm from Trinidad and Tobago, and, I'm in a lot of ways, I'm kind of relieved that we're not here. I mean, of course, I would love for my team from Trinidad and Tobago to be there. But, so Emmanuel, I guess we have a lot of Japanese fans here today. Myself, Emmanuel, Candice, Trini. And of course, there's people in the TikTok chat as well. So everybody who's in there right now, let me know where you're from. I know this is in the afternoon for Trinidad and Tobago. Some people are at work. Brazil with a long-range shot. Not too much power on that from Cunha, the number 9 for Brazil. And it's interesting, you know, for in the past, he didn't connect as he would like with that ball. So Brazil, everybody is used to, you know, Ronaldo and Adriano and even Luis Fabiano. And then, you know, it's different. This is a different Brazil. Sabir Ahmed has followed. Welcome, Sabir. Sabir, let me know where you're from. Drop a comment in the comment section as well, folks. So like I said, folks, everybody who's in here, if you haven't done so before, be sure to subscribe, like, click the notification bell. Our subscribers are going up. By the end of the World Cup, we want to be at 10,000. These things really help the channel, folks. They really help the channel. And of course, we have a merch store. You can purchase EXTV merch. It's delivered globally. And a lot of the proceeds go to charity as well. And we take a lot of, it takes a lot of work to get these streams together, folks. And driving and preparing and flying. Yes, I did say flying. So James and I supposed to meet up in Miami soon. So we'll be taking to the streets. James is going to the 3rd place game. And of course, you know, folks, let me know what you think about the knockout stages. Japan doing well to steal the ball. They're taking on his man. Not afraid to take on his man. Isolated, but eventually getting the ball snatched away in the end, but forcing a throw-in for Japan, which took some pressure off of Japan. So as you can see, folks, as I said at the beginning, the game is far from over. We have a long time to go. And this is do or die time, folks. You know, Brazil are going to have to react. They have the players to react. But Japan, folks, make no mistake, this is not over. And I do expect Brazil to react as the game goes along. So Japan are going to want to not make mistakes. Get more. Hey, Andre, I hope you're well. So Get More, what do you think? Japan won. I did say it was going to be a difficult game. So welcome, Get More. Folks, I want to say a special a shout out to Get More, who is EXTV's #1 fan, folks. And I say that without apology. He has been backing me since the very beginning. All the way back, I would say Get More since 2017, 2018. And even supporting me, putting his money where his mouth is as well with the super chats. And like I said, folks, if my energy levels are a little bit low, it's because, you know, this is a marathon, not a sprint. I was feeling a little bit under the weather, folks, but I'm feeling a little better now. So thankfully, it's nothing serious. I'm taking care of myself. I'm taking all the precautions. So I'll be match fit for all the games. So if you're just joining us in the 29th minute, Sano of Japan scored a beautiful low-driven shot from outside the box to beat Allison, to put Japan 1-0 ahead, folks. So, folks, can Brazil come back? Can Japan see this off? We have a long time to go, folks. But Japan, make no mistake, folks, they were showing... not just in the last friendly where they defeated Brazil, but Japan is a team that has been working on their football for a long time now. This is not a team of the old stereotypes. I'm seeing Mokhtar Mostafi has followed on Facebook as well. I really appreciate that, folks. We're getting a lot of followers on Facebook, folks, and their live streams have been doing really well. Japan passing the ball very comfortably and crisp, as we say in Trinidad and Tobago, in the midfield. Very calm. Not attacking relentlessly. Very excellent game management, I would say. This is a knockout game. And I'm very impressed by the methodical approach and the attack when they see fit. So the game is set up in such a way, folks. When you score first, the other team is now... The mental aspect is, do you attack and try to get an equalizer quickly? But then, if you overcommit, it then opens you up for the counter-attack. So that's why, you know... Scoring first is always a psychological advantage, and it forces the other team to take some risks. But when you're playing knockout games, you have to be really smart about how you're doing things. Japan doing well to hold on to the ball, which is, you know, something if you spoke to somebody in the 90s, you would never see, or before that, where Japan, you know, is keeping the ball against a game against Brazil. But kudos to Japan and their football program. They have invested a lot in their football program, and it's paying the results. You know, they knocked out Germany in the last World Cup. And they've been doing well since the 2000s, folks. This is not an overnight thing. And that's what you get when you create a program. You stick with it. There's no corruption as far as I know. And everybody wants the best for the team, unlike Trinidad and Tobago. So, Brazil out wide. Japan out wide. Japan with some flair there, a little back heel there. Whipped in cross. I'm expecting Marquinhos with his aerial prowess to get that ball. But Japan now applying a little bit of pressure. It's going to be a far post cross to Japan. Not well cleared by Brazil. And you expect in the aerial duels, Brazil should have a bit of an advantage. You have Marquinhos in the back there, but not a very familiar star-studded lineup if you're a non-Brazilian fan. And Brazilian fans out there. So, Andre, have you got your coconut water? I don't have the usual coconut water. I usually do get more. The guy who usually gives me, he ghosted me. I don't get any more. So, I have to make my own little hydration drink because I am suffering from a little dehydration. So, Japan on top of the box, folks. Losing out, but still maintaining possession. And if you're Brazil, folks, if you know Brazil, Ancelotti he doesn't have a problem with this. In his mind, sit back, be patient, we'll get our chances and release Vinicius. And while it might be annoying for Brazilian fans to see, Ancelotti, I think, is very okay with this kind of football. So they're pressing selectively. Japan creating some counter-attacking plays, but intercepted by Paqueta. Once again, Japan winning possession. Brazil not getting any meaningful possession. Now, this is Ancelotti's style. He's not afraid to concede possession. And the aim is, as soon as you get the ball, try to release Vinicius up front. But what that does is, since Vinicius is kind of the only outlet we've seen so far, it does give opposition teams the ability to sort of control the narrative a little bit. So Japan trying to see the half out here, spreading the ball beautifully to the other side of the pitch, to Japan's right side. Taking on his man very confidently. Shot on goal. Some would have argued it was a handball, but the Japanese players, to their credit, Japan with a very strategic foul, stopping that counter-attack. And I think that is very much a tactical foul. I think they understand the danger of how Ancelotti sets his teams up. Bruno, and it wasn't Bruno. Is it Bruno? Bruno was trying to start the counter-attack. As you can see there in the camera, Vinicius was going to get that pass, and Japan identified that and fouled that player. So they clearly did their homework. So get more. I don't have my coconut water, but I have this. Getmo, I really appreciate you coming on. Getmo, what time is it in the UK? I know Getmo's in the UK, folks. So like I said, folks, I have been feeling a little bit under the weather. But so my energy level drifts. So we're approaching halftime. We're 4 minutes. We have 4 minutes of extra time. Brazil whipping the ball in. Not convincingly dealt with by Japan. Japan is claiming it's a goal kick. Brazil seem to be very annoyed about that. And I think the ref is right in this case. But let's see. I'm sure they're going to show a replay. Or is it offside? Let's see what it was. So, Paqueta jumping. Yeah, it looks like it came off Paqueta. I can't really tell. It looks like it came off Paqueta. Stay hydrated. 6:47 p.m. there. Yeah, I am trying to. I did suffer from a little dehydration. And I will be probably heading to the US very soon. So, for the people in Miami, I'll probably be there. I'll put the information of where I'm going to be in the EXTV group that you're seeing in the QR code there. I'm not going to make it overly public for my own security. Folks, like I said, folks, I don't know where I put my phone. I want to pay attention to the people in the TikTok as well because, I had some issues with TikTok. Let me take a quick look. See, live visibility restricted. Now, I don't know why it does that. I don't know why it does that, folks. I keep submitting my appeal. So I guess I need, I don't know if it's a glitch. 6:47 p.m. in England. So like I said, people who are in the TikTok as well and Twitch, make sure to keep liking it and engaging me on TikTok, folks. At halftime, I'm going to try to find my phone. Oh, there it is. I was sitting on it. So let's see. Let's keep an eye on the TikTok. So we're approaching halftime. We're about halfway through injury time. Extra time. And folks, Brazil are down 1-0 with a beautiful goal from Sano. So for the people who are neutrals in this, Getmo, who are you supporting? Everybody so far in the chat seems to be supporting Japan. I am supporting Japan because I'm an Argentina fan, but also, I'm not hate watching. I have a lot of respect for Japan and how they've been playing football for the last 20 years or so. And as you all saw, there was a friendly leading up to I know a lot of people say don't read into friendlies, but I think you saw in the last maybe 5 years or so, Japan, they have been improving, but they made a jump. In the last World Cup, they basically eliminated Germany. And, folks, a lot of people have been arguing about the format, folks. A lot of people have been saying Jose Mourinho, Carlos Queiroz. Some of my viewers as well are not a huge fan of of this. So Getmore is supporting Japan. So we have our home Japan crowd with the EXTV chat today, folks, on Facebook as well. You can let me know in the chats as well. So Brazil trying to get the Vinicius. As you can see, as I stated, the majority of Brazil attacks, even though they do attempt a couple of crosses, Vinicius seems to be the main outlet. And they are going down that left side continuously and trying to get the ball to Vinicius and spread the play. So, for example, they would spread the play out wide, right like this. But the intention is to really free up Vinicius. So Marquinhos whipping it in. Decently headed by Japan. And Japan are going to want to see out this half at 1-0. So Brazil now, Ancelotti's probably going to have a conversation with his men at halftime. This is not the kind of team that are going to really dominate possession. I'm seeing a Brazilian player down. I think it's Paqueta. He looks injured. He's slowly getting up. Japan playing the ball nicely out the back, releasing. Can he keep possession? That should be a foul for Japan, but, you know, the Japanese players and their fans are very disciplined, and, you know, kudos to them. Trinidad and Tobago fans, please take note. You know, they actually clean up after themselves after they leave the stadium. And I'm talking about walking around with bags. And that says a lot. So it's halftime now, folks. Japan 1, Brazil 0. And I have to say, folks, I'm not... For people who follow Brazil in the qualifiers, I'm not surprised. So the Japan fans are in euphoria right now. This is do or die, folks. This is the knockout stage. This is the knockout stage. So there's a lot of time to go. We're at halftime. I'm pacing myself today because I said, folks, I am feeling a little bit under the weather. So I'm going to monitor my TikTok here, folks. So like I said, folks, all my viewers out there, show me some love in the TikTok at Extra Time TV TT. For whatever reason, TikTok keeps telling me my chat is not my own. So, you know, it's good. I have to keep appealing it. So I'll need my people as well to go in TikTok and support it as well. So I'm going to pay attention and try to engage as much as possible. Because when they do that, you know, it messes with my algorithm. Because I've been doing really great when I did the Trinidad and Tobago watch-alongs. Get more, you knew this. So just a little update, folks. It is halftime. Oh, let me stop my clock. It is halftime. And Brazil are losing 1-0. And I'd have to say, in the balance of play, Japan look the better team. They look the better team, if I'm being really honest. So, like I said, folks, just a special congratulations to all the viewers out there. We got 10,000 views and growing in the live stream on Facebook. And, you know, we're trying to get the viewership up as well everywhere. Twitch and so on. But 10,000, 14,000 and more with the Scotland-Brazil game. The other Argentina-Algeria game was 35,000 and more, folks. So, like I said, share, folks, share. And then I will be doing my round of 32 breakdown after this. Like I said, I will be pacing myself. And I will be doing it. I was going to do it live, obviously. After we know Canada is through, and we're probably going to see who goes through in this game. So people in the chat, let's do some predictions now. Let's do some predictions. I'm going to ask you all to comment as well, and, you know, get and share with your friends and get them to comment, because, you know, we'll be doing a random draw. And, you know, whoever qualifies, who gets the result right, will qualify for a chance to win a jersey of their choice, club or country, and also maybe a copy of EAFC 27. And of course, you have the super chat option. You could also purchase merch from EXTV Streamlabs, which will be delivered all over the planet. There's links below as well, folks, so you could check that out. And of course, you know, we have our Instagram content, TikTok content, and I'll be playing some FIFA as well, folks. I did play it a couple nights ago. I finally got the stream to work. I haven't been able to get FIFA on Netflix, folks. I don't know. I mean, it's supposed to be available globally. I will try my VPN again and see. So, folks, it's halftime. I know a lot of people are getting their drinks. So let's keep an eye on the TikTok as well. I have to keep monitoring my TikTok, folks. And, of course, you know, updating my news. So on TikTok here, seems to be okay. It seems to be okay. So anybody who is on TikTok, I encourage you to join and, you know, share with your friends. I am going to update, you know, as you can see, we have the news below. So we have that ticker tape below there, folks. So I'm multitasking, folks. It takes a lot of work, but I do it because you all give me that encouragement, and I really enjoy that. Brazil win on pens. Oh, wow. That's an interesting take. And that's very possible. It is very possible, folks. So let's see. I'm just updating the news here, folks. At the bottom of the screen, you will see, you know, the latest updates from SofaScore, FIFA.com as well. And, you know, as it stands, you know, I will update the scores as well. And If I'm pausing, it's because I'm paying attention to the score line. Sorry if I'm pausing for a second, but I'm actually appealing the TikTok thing right now. So, folks, if you're in here right now, let me know your predictions. Let me know how you think this game is going to go. What do you think about the teams that made it into the round of 32? And just generally what you think about the World Cup so far. So, if I'm pausing for a couple seconds, it's just that I'm fixing this. I'm seeing, let me just fix this. So, yes, folks, Brazil. What are we saying about Brazil? Can this Brazil win the 5th star, folks? Can they? So, I just saw Hafizul Islam has followed. And, folks, wow, you know I'm an Argentina fan. What do you think about Lionel Messi's performance? What do you think about Argentina's performance? I'm not one of those fans that are going to get carried away. A lot of people saying, oh, it's an easy bracket. There are no easy games, folks. There are no easy games. Every game is difficult. Look at this game. This is a knockout stage. As far as I'm concerned, this is where the World Cup has begun. It has begun. So Getmore is saying Brazil will win on pens. Let's see. Let's see, folks. Ancelotti, I'm wondering what the discussion is with Carlo Ancelotti right now. I'm going to share the stream with a lot of people as well. And I'm also going to keep an eye on my TikTok. So everybody as well, let's get those... Keep my TikTok alive because it did really great with the Trinidad and Tobago fans. So, of course, I want to make sure that it stays that way. So, folks, I'm just sharing the stream with everybody else. Let me know what you're thinking right now. What do you think about the score? What do you think about, from Trinidad and Tobago's perspective? What do you think about the coverage? Who was the biggest shock for you? And then I will be doing my round of 32 in real time predictions. When this game is done. So, I have a lot of content in between. And like I said, if my energy sounds a little bit low today, it's because my energy levels are a little bit low. I am pacing myself. So I'm just keeping an eye on the TikTok here, folks. It seems to be okay. It seems to be all right. It seems to be all right. I don't know why I said that. So like I said, people in Facebook, Twitch, YouTube, everywhere, TikTok, let me know where you are. Let me know where you're watching the game. I did not advertise this game, so a lot of people have been asking me to send a watch along, and I appreciate that. It shows that you guys are really enjoying it, so I'm going to send that stream out there now. And like I said, I hope everybody's enjoying what I'm doing so far. We do put a lot of work into this. I will be heading to the States soon. James is out of the country right now. He's in Poland, and he'll be back. And then both of us will be heading to Miami. And we'll be having a lot of fun content, folks. We're really doing our best and investing a lot of our personal energy into this. So I really appreciate all the follows, folks. I'm going to share this with a couple people. Like I said, folks, I didn't advertise this stream as much. So, keep it going, folks. Keep it going. And let me know what you think, all the Brazil fans out there. Let me know what you're thinking. Let me know what you think about the score. What do you think about the watch-alongs? What do you think about the times? A lot of the games are late, so sometimes people are asleep. Let me know your thoughts. Let me know your thoughts, folks. So I'm sending this out there to everybody. Let me know what you're thinking about the overall World Cup. Who do you think is going to win? Do you think this Brazil team can come back, folks? I'm sending this to some of my Brazil fans. I'm sending it out there right now. So everybody else, if you want to share with your people, you can. You absolutely can. So I'm trying to do this. It's multitask right now. Why is it not sharing? Oh, there we go. So yeah, I'm sharing it right now, folks. So everybody out there right now in the chat, I know it's halftime and everybody, they're grabbing their drink and so on. So what do you think, folks? Japan, is that it? Japan are going to run away with this game? Are Brazil going to come back? Is it going to be a close game, or can Japan see this out, folks? That is the question. That is the question, folks. So like I said, if I'm looking away periodically, it's because I'm doing these. I'm sending. A lot of people have been asking for this. I'm sending it. Let's see. So a couple people in here. Thanks for the watch along support, folks. I'm seeing it in all the chats so far. People in Facebook as well joining in. So, folks, let me know where you are. We have a lot of content, folks. We have EAFC content where I'll be streaming online. I'm trying to get my TikTok back up and running. I see Nathalio Mindali has followed. So I really appreciate the follows. I'm getting a lot of follows on Facebook, folks. It's going up really high. So Facebook is speeding towards that 10,000 mark, folks. And we just crossed the 3,200 mark on subscribers for YouTube and of course on TikTok. So let's see if by the end of the game we could get to 1,000 on TikTok. And maybe, whatever. So people out there as well. So I know there's a lot of regular returning viewers. So let's see how it goes. I know there are a lot of viewers out there as well. English-speaking Japan fans and Brazilian fans. So let me know your thoughts. Let me know your thoughts, folks. So I'm just sending this to people. I am sending this to people, and I hope you guys are enjoying this. So, folks, drop a comment. Let me know what you're thinking. And like I said, the last Facebook streams did really well, folks. So I'm sending this to everybody. So continue to support, folks. Like, subscribe, and share. So like I said, folks, you could head over to extvmedia.com. I do have a lot of interesting content, not just watch-alongs. We do have analysis. I will be bringing Kenwin Jones, the former Stoke and Cardiff City man, in here. Atlanta United, Trinidad and Tobago striker. We just have to work out the scheduling conflicts, myself included. James will return. Terry's probably going to return. We may do an England game. We had Terry Finnick, the 1986 player who played against Maradona. He brought his jersey here, folks. Isn't that crazy that he played against Maradona? You could check that out when you're done on the YouTube channel. You could take a look at that, and we have beautiful highlights. Absolutely hilarious. Everybody has a lot of fun laughing at those highlights and some hot takes as well. And of course, I want to say a shout out to everybody out there who has been supporting the channel. I see a lot of viewers are popping in. I know it's halftime, and a lot of people are at work. So I hope if you can't see the game, my voice is entertaining you. And I'm really pacing myself, folks. I want to be match fit by the time I travel. And folks, I heard there's a bit of a stomach bug out there. So I always encourage everybody on EXTV. I do try to practice what I preach and live a healthy lifestyle, exercise, take care of your body. And, I want everybody to be healthy. It's important. It's very easy to, like in this type of content to sit down. I do encourage every couple of minutes, you stretch your legs, you walk around, treat your body well. Treat your body well. Take care of yourself. I want everybody to be, well in body and mind. So like I said, folks, in case you're wondering what that QR code is on the side of the screen there, you could scan and get our WhatsApp notifications. A lot of people have been asking. So that way, I won't have to keep forwarding during the stream as well. You can just scan and go in there and get your updates as well. And of course, please feel free to follow the community guidelines. Like I said, like, subscribe, share, follow on all the socials you see below there. And, keep it going. Like I said, also show some love for my TikTok. It was growing really fast. And then TikTok seems to be, I don't know if it's the detection or whatever it is. I'm not sure why. But I see Hayden Weber is in TikTok as well. And when that happens, it kind of lowers my my followers for a little while. So, I have to make sure everything is okay. So, folks, do that. So, folks, what do you think? What tactical changes do you think Brazil are they going to do? Are they going to change something? Are they going to make some substitutions? Are they going to change their formation? Brazil has played that formation, folks. And I am wearing a flamboyant Adidas jacket today. Some people asked about that. So I'm going to put my phone on the stand here so I can watch the TikTok, people. And that way it won't interrupt my flow, folks. My flow. So, folks, I'm away from the mic, so my audio is going to sound a little bit off. I've seen somebody in the TikTok here joined in. Oh, my case. Mikkel. Always fresh. Just joined, Mikkel. I really appreciate the support, folks. I'm trying to get my TikTok followers up to 1,000 by the end of this game. Do you think we could do that? 10,000 by the end of the tournament, but I'm trying to get it up to 1,000 by the end of this game. And we're doing a lot of content, folks. So I don't know why I'm seeing Nabi Nagar has joined. Welcome in the TikTok as well, folks. So Nabir and everybody else, so fresh. Let me know your predictions. Drop your predictions in the TikTok as well, folks. I'm monitoring everywhere, folks. You can let me know what you think about this game. If you're a fan of Brazil, if you're a fan of Japan, if you're a fan of neither, who do you think is going to win? What do you think about this score? And folks, come on, let's talk about the goal. Let's talk about that goal. What do you think about that goal, folks? That's amazing. So Vimson Rima is followed on Facebook, folks. We're getting a lot of followers. Like I said, folks, in the TikTok chat as well, be sure to drop some likes and so on. For whatever reason, I think there's a software issue, I think, with TikTok as well, where it's I have to keep appealing it, But like I said, folks, keep engaged. Keep the chat coming. I'm in Trinidad and Tobago right now. There's a lot of rain, and I will be heading back out soon. But James will be returning as well, and then both of us will head back out as well. So you can let me know as well what's going on. So, like I said, folks, I'm updating the scores underneath as well. And as you can see, SofaScore is providing us with that data. And we will be doing other watch-alongs as well. I will be doing my predictions for the round of 32, so you could drop your predictions. It will be on TikTok as well. I may do it live. but it will stay on TikTok, so you can let me know your thoughts on that. You can let me know your thoughts. I could do it on a stream afterwards, folks. What do you think about that? I could do that. That is an option. So you can let me know your thoughts about that. We already know Canada is through. We already know, well, we'll see what happens in this game. So that's 2 teams in the bracket I won't have to do. Mostly because it's a lot of work. So the players are coming back in, folks. I see an Asian Brazilian fan. So congratulations to him. We live in a global society now. So that's not surprising. I see Endrick is warming up. I know he left Real Madrid to get some playing time. Ancelotti's familiar with him. So there's a familiarity there. I suspected there was going to be some changes. I suspect Endrick is going to be that false 9 to give another attacking option up front. He can dribble. He can play out wide if he needs to. And I think that's going to give a different dimension. So he was supposed to be the next great player at Real Madrid. And I always have a concern about young players going to Real Madrid. I think, sometimes if you don't hit it big immediately, you sometimes fall by the wayside, as we say in Trinidad and Tobago. And I'm seeing a similar situation with Mastantuano. And that's why sometimes I don't really like, even Vinicius in the beginning, folks. That's the thing, sometimes it's good for them to go develop. I see Paz, who's a Real Madrid player. He did well in Como. I think he intelligently asked to stay there, and I think he's asking to stay in Syria. And I think there's a transfer about that, folks. So I know Real Madrid, did have a buyback clause and so on. So Inter Milan and Como are working hard to keep him, but he's another example. So the Brazil players are coming back out. I see Gabriel, Vini, and those guys are having a conversation. Neymar giving a hug, giving moral support. Neymar trying to pump up his players, giving instructions. A lot of my cynical fans are saying, I'm seeing Candice join my TikTok. Yes, I really need my TikTok to keep running, up and running, folks. Keep the likes coming as well. And, let me know your predictions as well. And share with your friends and so on. And, of course, keep the viewership up as well. And get the subscribers up, folks. Subscribe! So we want to get to 1,000 by the end of the game and 10,000 at the end of the World Cup, folks. It's a marathon, not a sprint. Let me hydrate. I had to drink a little bit of electrolytes, folks, because I was dehydrated. And I had to eat a lot of bland foods. It's very boring. So the Japanese fans are in full swing. I wanted to get one of these Japanese handbands. Lawrence! Jetta, come on, Japan. You all couldn't hook me up with something? I'm mad, I'm pissed. I mean, that's crazy. But anyway, so Endrick is coming on. I think more than likely it's going to be for maybe Cunha. I think that's probably the substitution I didn't see. So Neymar on the sideline hugging the officials, which is a little bit weird. I'm hoping it's a Brazilian official because, that would cause people... So somebody's coming on. I think Paqueta is injured. So Endrick is still warming up. So it looked like it was a last-minute substitution. So Endrick, not a very tall player, very compact, strong-looking player. His confidence has improved drastically since he went to Lyon. Ancelotti giving him instructions. They are familiar with each other at Real Madrid. So I think he may be coming on. Yeah, he's coming on for Paqueta. So Paqueta looks like he's injured. He's getting a lot of instructions. And I'm guessing, a lot of pressure has been put on Endrick. And it seemed like he was struggling. Vinicius giving him that, big brother hand swipe that you need. So let me make sure and get my clock up and running here, folks. Brazil versus Japan. Folks, if you know what I'm talking about, why I did that sound effect, folks. So, let's see. And we're back. We're back, folks, and the clock is up. Let me know if it's running smoothly for you guys. I try to make my stream pretty for everybody. Let me know. Kendrick, no Endrick, stay on the bench. Well, he's coming on. He's on now. So people in the TikTok as well, let me know what's going on. And I will periodically check it out. Be sure to give the like. So Endrick immediately on the ball. And I'm guessing that's why he's coming on, to create another dimension out wide. Because they were relying heavily on Vinicius. So he will add that dynamism you'll need. In swing and cross, Endrick is not known for his headers. So they were probably aiming for Cunha. So Cunha is in number 9. And while Cunha is a good player, considering the kinds of number 9s that Brazil had in the past, it's really a far cry. So Brazil playing the 4-1-2-3 formation. Douglas Santos, Gabriel Marquinhos, Danilo, Casemiro in midfield as a lone defensive midfielder. Paqueta, who's off for Endrick, Bruno from Newcastle, and Vinicius and whatever. Anyway, so Japan is on the attack. I'll get back to that. Japan with a cross to the far post. Japan, ball falling kindly to Japan, but well cleared at the last minute by Brazil. And that's the thing, folks. Japan are playing very disciplined football, very effective football. They don't seem intimidated by the occasion, which is great. I'm seeing a lot of these teams, with the exception of that Curacao team who's from my region, which is CONCACAF. I felt as if the nerves got the better of them because I followed them in CONCACAF, and, I feel as if that wasn't a fair reflection of how good they are, and they did bounce back. But, Japan is no small team anymore, folks. Anybody who really watches football will not say that. Are they the superpowers? Of course not. That belongs to the former World Cup winners. But, these teams are living up their play. Brazil, once again, for the entire game, folks, I won't lie, they have been very much complaining to the ref a lot. Japan is not a team that is known for diving or indisciplines. I'm not sure why the ref is doing what he's doing. That's just not Japan's style. And that's the thing. We get to see not just playing styles, but just the cultural style. Brazil is flamboyant, emotional, and Japan is disciplined. Maybe a little bit less vocal. So, Barabar Bir has followed. Folks, everybody who followed on Facebook, be sure to drop a comment and let me know where you're from. Brazil seems to be trying that in-swinging diagonal cross from the right. And like I said, Japan trying to start the counter-attack. That is another foul. Not for Casemiro this time. But I think it is for... Let me see. So once again, this is where Japan are dangerous. Because every time Brazil commits, Japan are not afraid to dribble. And this is where, the age and also maybe some news from Brazil. They're not in tip-top shape in terms of fitness. So Danilo is a player, long gone of the days of Cafu and Dani Alves and Roberto Carlos and all these guys. Danilo is, a far cry from those guys. He's a good player, but he's not, that legendary type player that you would see. I know people joke and say Anthony is the GOAT. But, Brazil, folks. And, folks, what do you think? Do you think that Ancelotti is doing a better job with Brazil than maybe Chiche in the last World Cup? He was the last coach, I think, to get a decent, steady run with Brazil. Japan confidently, although in the first half it didn't work out really well, coming out from the box there. Let's see what's happening. All right, so Brad's child. So like I said, folks, keep an eye as well. Support me in the TikTok and as well. I know a lot of people are quiet and looking at the game as well. I didn't announce it. I see Neymar is warming up. So let me take a quick look at my TikTok and make sure everything is okay. So far, so good. So Nabin, welcome. Hayden Weber, welcome. So I hope everything is okay. So the round of 32 is here. Endrich getting on the ball. Sorry. And, he hasn't really showed his true potential for Brazil yet. I have no doubts he's going to be a peripheral figure for Brazil. People clearly see a lot of talent in this guy. That move he made to Liga definitely gave him some confidence that he was not getting at Real Madrid. So Japan now on the attack, not afraid to take on their players. Marquinhos doing well, the back-to-back Champions League winner with PSG. Similar to Otamendi, on the older side, but, seems to use his tactical intelligence well enough to play at the highest level still. And folks, wow, what do you think about PSG winning back-to-back, folks? Luis Enrique, Mbappe leaving. A lot of people are saying as soon as Mbappe left, things started working out. But Luis Enrique does not get his flowers, folks. I know all you Barcelona fans talk about Pep, but come on. Luis Enrique came in there and, got those trophies. And I feel as if sometimes he goes under the radar. I actually thought if he wasn't at PSG, he probably would have been a good replacement for Pep at Manchester City. But he's at PSG now. Brazil. Japan appealing for a foul in the middle, but well intercepted, trying to release Vinicius. So Brazil, obviously, as the game goes along, and they're going to try to increase the attack. Vinicius, 1v1. The ball fortunate to get back to Vinicius. Excellent tackle by Japan. Brazil in possession now, trying to turn up the speed a little bit. Passing the ball around, but I don't think it's fast enough to destabilize the Japanese defense. And of course, as the game goes along, your legs are going to get tired. So Japan, I think, are going to try to not just be constantly defending, which kudos to them, they haven't been doing. They have been able to maintain very healthy bouts of constructive possession. Brazil keep doing that cross to the right side in the box, but there's no real players of strong aerial prowess to get to that. So I'm monitoring the TikTok as well, folks. Keeping an eye. So Brazil once again in possession. Danilo going down that right side, trying to release Vinicius. Ancelotti making his move, bringing on Endrick. Vinicius on his favored side. Well, on his wide side. He's very comfortable on that side, cutting in. Brazil with another cross in. What a save! What a save by Japan. I can't see who got the header in there. It was crowded in the box. Bruno. So Bruno once again riling up the fans, folks. Folks, not to be mean, but it doesn't seem like real passion, like the old Brazilians. I don't know. But listen, he's trying to rile up the crowd. So Danilo with a cross in. Offensively, he's great. Doing well to get in between the Japanese centre-backs. And an excellent save. So Brazil now showing their intent, creating a chance. They have been crossing the ball in. So maybe Ancelotti is saying, hey, let's get some aerial balls and maybe we could outjump these guys. Once again, another cross. Very uncharacteristic of Brazil. You know, in the stereotypical sense where people expect them to dribble and have overlapping runs and have that moment of magic. But they are resorting to that ball as it is expected from Ancelotti. I have no issue with different tactics, folks. To me, if you get the win, you play with the players. Brazil, the ball in the box, not well cleared. Not falling kindly to Brazil. It was just kind of bubbling around in the box there. So Brazil with a bit of, I wouldn't even say a half chance, maybe a 75% chance there. But Japan doing enough to clear. They're going to want to stabilize things. Brazil are starting to try to stamp their authority on this game, which was expected. I didn't expect Brazil to not just step it up a bit. So once again, another cross. So clearly some instructions were given to Brazil to get the ball into the box. Vinicius. Marquinhos going further up the pitch, heading out wide, right for Brazil. Another cross, folks. Heading across goal. Is it a goal? Wow, off the line. So clearly, Brazil, and now it could be a potential counter-attack. I couldn't even talk about the goal. Can Japan hurt Brazil now? Excellent cross out wide. Could this be the nail in the coffin? Wow, with a better cross. Brazil, folks, wow, what a piece of action there. So Brazil creating a chance, clearing the ball off the line. As you can see here, another cross, headed across goal. And I can't see who headed the ball, folks, but both Endrick and I think Casemiro. Casemiro with a brilliant header, but well blocked. And Japan doing enough just to clear the ball. They were scrambling. The keeper and the defender doing well to just get in position to block that ball. I think in any direction, it still would have been difficult. I think Japan showing alertness, and then Japan quickly started a counter-attack, which with a better cross could have been an absolute pin through the heart to Brazil after getting that chance and then easily possibly conceding a second goal. And that's the thing, folks. This is exactly what I was talking about in the first half. When you attack, you have to take risks. And Brazil almost scored, but then immediately within seconds, Japan almost hurt them. So that's where the caution comes in. Brazil started that. And once again, Brazil crossing in those balls. They clearly have identified some sort of tactical weakness or instructions to keep crossing the ball in from the right side. I'm seeing Ancelotti doing it. So the analyst on that team has clearly identified something. Now, of course, in terms of height, Brazil are definitely going to have, in some cases, an advantage. Not so much Endrick, but some of the players in there. It's not... Endrick is probably the shortest player for the Brazil lineup, but they have decent height on them. And Japan has dealt with the aerial attack, so they're no longer dribbling. Once again, an in-swinging cross. And it's, like I said, it is causing some difficulty for the Japanese because it's being cleared out to the left side with Vinicius. And then once again, another cross. And it's a goal for Brazil. Eventually, the cross is paying off. Casemiro scoring a goal, folks. Casemiro. Brazil are back in the game, folks. Clearly the tactical switch worked. They were crossing the ball in constantly and it was causing Japan problems. They were not dealing with those crosses. And eventually, whoever the analyst is for Brazil saw that. And they are now back in, folks. They are now back in. As expected, Brazil were not just going to lie down on this match, folks. We knew that. So Casemiro, the veteran, getting a goal. And folks, we can't say we didn't see this coming. Casemiro doing a very slightly offensive gesture there. I see this comical. So once again, for the last 10 minutes, Brazil have been crossing. And there are some arguments for offside. I don't think so. I think he beat the offside trap. And I think Japan are not able to deal with those crosses. They have not been able to deal with those crosses. And we saw the sign a couple of minutes ago. Casemiro getting in there. And he's kind of making a gesturing thing to the crowd. I see the Brazilian players are crying. They are very passionate people. Vinicius. But folks, let's be real. We saw this coming. So Brazil won. Goal from Casemiro. Japan won. We're in the 56 minutes. So we have a game on, folks. The Japanese crowd are upset. But folks, we saw this coming, folks. It wasn't the traditional type of goal you would see. But Casemiro has gotten Brazil back, folks. 56th minute, Casemiro. The 29th minute, Sano. So whatever tactical changes they made in terms of the crossing, it has worked. Japan has yet to kind of really deal with it. So if I was Brazil, I would continue doing that. And if I was the Japanese coach, I would be paying a lot of attention to that because it has caused some problems. And, for all Japan's work, this is the knockout stage. This is the knockout stage, folks. So the game is now 1-1. How is this game going to go, folks? We are in a game now, folks. And Brazil, to be fair to them, they were trying to get that, and they did. They did get it eventually. Japan giving the ball away cheaply. Asking for a free kick, not getting it. I think it was a fair call by Japan. Some of these calls in the World Cup, folks. Vinicius not making his player. So, the finest, the Vinicius cutting in. Oh my goodness, Vinicius almost with a beautiful solo goal and hitting the post, folks. So Vinicius is now trying to pump up the crowd. Japan are now on the back foot now, folks. As expected, I did not expect Brazil not to attack, folks. So Vinicius not making the wing back, getting inside, beating his man. And this is where, Brazil are comfortable. When you get Vinicius in these positions. Beating the keeper. And the keeper with a fine touch just to push the ball into the post. What a save. But Brazil, folks, Brazil have turned it on, folks. Brazil have turned it on. It's amazing how a goal could just change your mentality. And Japan, folks, are not playing badly. But this is where probably Japan are going to want that hydration break so the coach could speak to the players and say, hey, listen, we need to sort things out. So Brazil are not going to want the hydration break. And this is where tactically it affects the dynamic of the game. If you're Japan right now, you want that break. Japan are creating chances, folks. So both teams creating chances, but Brazil more in the last couple of minutes. Japan are finding those gaps. A combination play up front. Japan calling for a handball. A little bit of miscommunication with Japan in the box there. So Jakir Hossein, welcome. West Indies FA, just tuned in. Viva la beef, James, where are you? James, are you watching this game? Japan were playing really excellent. James would normally be here with me, folks. And then Brazil in the last couple minutes, uncharacteristically using a lot of crosses. And they have created 3 clear chances in the last 5 minutes. So Japan are definitely going to want to get to the hydration break, and Japanese are going to want to have some instructions. If you're Brazil, you don't want that water break right now. You definitely don't want that hydration break. So we've seen some Brazilian legends, Roberto Carlos, Ronaldo. Okay, it's gone. I can't see. So if you're Japan, you're going to want to get control of this game. I'm trying to find a game on TV and Poland, but I've been unsuccessful yet, but I will find soon. But just reaching out. Yes, James, we appreciate that. So James is in Poland. Are you in Poland? Yes, in Poland. So James will be back soon, and then 2 of us will be heading to Miami. So folks, stay tuned. And he'll be back for the live streams. We are in the round of 32. And this is a serious business now, folks. Canada is the first team through. I will be doing my predictions. James, I was a little bit under the weather, so I am pacing myself. Hydrating, drinking my electrolytes. So I'm on a strict hydration and eating diet for the next 5 days. Not because it's absolutely necessary, but I'm taking precautions. I don't want to be sick for this World Cup. There is a little bit of a stomach bug going around Trinidad and Tobago. So I'm being careful. That's not what I have, but I'm just being careful. So I did have some hydration. So Ancelotti, whoever his analyst is, I was wondering about the crosses, but clearly they identified those crosses. Japan are having a hard time dealing with those crosses, folks. So Brazil were just crossing, and they created 3 chances, taking 1. 1 cleared off the line, 1 hitting the post from Vinicius, and 1 going in from Casemiro. So Japan are a bit rattled, so they're going to try to calm things down. So this is where the game management comes in. The Canada game was awful, very disappointing in their performance. Interesting. I didn't get to see the entire game, but I will have a look at it. My throat, folks. I don't have my coconut water today, which helps. So people in TikTok as well. So Japan in on goal here. Ooh. But Allison coming out to get that. So folks, it's a finely balanced game now. In fact, I would say if there was a momentum map, it probably would be leaning towards Brazil. Not necessarily dominating possession, but creating the clear chances. So both teams are going to have to show some serious game management. If you're Brazil, you definitely don't want that hydration break right now. If you're Japan, this is probably ideal for Japan. I see Allison completely stopping the game for some reason. Completely porting possession, which probably works in Japan's favor. Allison with almost a careless giveaway. A little bit of maybe overconfidence by Allison there. He almost had his pocket picked by Japan, but Vinicius out in his favorite position. Brazil are now starting to combine a little bit better now. And Japan, possibly a plan to kind of lull Japan into a false sense of security and then attack at speed, which is, I believe, possibly what they're doing. A lot of coaches do that. Brazil combining down the right side, getting inside. Japan looking a little bit stretched here, folks. Could we see another cross? Japan clearly. Once again, another cross. Once again, another cross. Not the characteristic dribble and maybe low pass, but crossing. Interesting. So I wouldn't say Brazil are back, but you are seeing, the players are more comfortable. They're showing the flair a little bit. And since they scored that goal, they're looking a bit more like themselves, a bit more comfortable. But, we have a long way to go, folks. Japan won. Brazil won. A goal from Casemiro. Getting Brazil back into the game, folks. So like I said, folks, every couple of seconds I'm monitoring my TikTok to make sure everything is okay. So I'm going to take a moment here to take a look. It's okay, folks. So like I said, folks, for those of you in the TikTok, be sure to support the TikTok. For whatever reason, it's getting some little errors and sometimes I have to appeal it. So Japan with a nice through ball. Nobody in support. Japan in the box there. A shot on goal. Allison fumbling it. So there were two Japanese players in the box there. Were very annoyed. They were expecting some service. But the number 18 for Japan, I don't have the squad list here, opting to take a shot. So clearly they also identified, low shots on Allison may cause some problems. Allison is an experienced keeper. He's not the same as maybe a couple of years ago. Kind of fumbling that, but it's easier said than done to capture those low whipped balls. As James he's a goalkeeper. I'm not a goalkeeper, but I've worked around goalkeepers, coaching, and, a few times in a game I had to goalkeep. Recreationally, of course. So like I said, everybody in the chat, let me know what's going on. Facebook, Twitch, everybody else. So Brazil starting to look a little bit more confident. And folks, let's be real. They were going to react. This is a World Cup. What do you think? Brazil was not going to react? Of course they're going to react. They're a nation, 5-time champions. Their ego took a lot of hit in the last couple of years. They lost at, the Maracana in the Copa America and qualifiers for the first time from Argentina, of course. And, they haven't been doing well, and Ancelotti has been brought in to try to stabilize things. And, considering the short time he's been in there, I think he's done reasonably well. I think he brings in that experience. Vinicius out wide right. I'll get back to that point in a little while. So Brazil now with a low cross, which, so far, they've been trying a lot of the air balls. And, I think Japan are more comfortable. So you can see Japan, the coach has a concerned look on his face. So Brazil, a substitution here. Martinelli's coming on. I'm guessing he's coming on for Cunha. 22 for 9. Martinelli, the Arsenal man, coming on for Cunha, the Manchester United man. So for you EPL fanboys. So like I said, folks, let me know what's going on. People in the TikTok, Facebook as well. Be sure to like, subscribe, share, follow on all the channels. I want to stop for a minute to tell you all this. Because when you do that, you automatically qualify for a chance to win prizes, folks. Jersey of your choice, a chance to win prizes. And of course, you can do super chats and purchase. Nakamura's coming off. You can purchase from our EXTV Mood Store. It's delivered all over the planet. And we have a lot of global viewers. And we're trying to get to that 10,000 subscriber mark at the end of the World Cup. And of course, at the end of this match day, we're going to try to get our TikTok up to 1,000. So like I said, folks, I'm asking for special support in the TikTok. I have been getting some errors with my lives. So it really means a lot if you all do that. So Brazil Now probing a little bit higher up the pitch. Not recklessly attacking, looking for those spaces. And of course, Japan keeping their shape. But as I said repeatedly, they have identified clearly crossing is it's causing Japan difficulty in the box. So Brazil inching their way closer, trying to force the Japanese defensive shape out of position and starting to take on players. A bit of a cutback. I call it the EAFC cutback. Just do it, 20,000. So we have a game, folks. We have a game. We are in the round of 32. As far as I'm concerned, the World Cup has begun. Let me know what you think about the draw so far. I will be doing after the game. Some people are asking me to do it live. I may or may not do it that way because I am, like I said, I'm pacing myself. I am feeling a little bit under the weather, folks. Not sick, but you know when something is up. So any doctors in the chat, if you have any vitamin shots and you're willing to give me one, let me know. I think my sleep has been causing some problems, folks. Like I said, folks, I really appreciate the support. It takes a lot of work to do these chats and create this content, so I really appreciate the support, folks. And I didn't advertise this stream as much as the others, so I know I caught a lot of people off guard with this one. But as we are getting to the knockout stages, Brazil with a ball in the box. I don't think Endrick was the right guy to get on that header. But he has the tactical change in terms of relying on crosses are definitely causing Brazil problems. So as you can see here, the ball is whipped in. Endrick, a little bit of a theatrical dive there. I think he's trying to play the ref. Nothing enough to get a penalty, I think. But Brazil, kudos to Carlo Ancelotti and his moves. He has gotten Brazil back into this game. So now the hydration break, folks. Now the hydration break, which I'll be hydrating as well. So, folks, what do you think about the tactics so far? If you're just joining us, 68 minutes in, Casemiro getting Brazil back into the game. Brazil were doing a lot of crosses, creating 2 clear chances and clearly reacting, as I think Brazilians would like them to. Reacting to the goal and from Japan in the first half. So let me know what you think about the tactics. Martinelli has come on. And Japan, I think the water break definitely has come at the right time for them. Now they can have a discussion and discuss their tactics. And I think Brazil would probably have liked, in this case. And that's a perfect example of how it changes the momentum for a team. For example, if there was no momentum, you couldn't stop the play. You couldn't have a conversation with the coach. So, this is an interesting dynamic to the game. And I like it. I think it changes the game. I'm not totally against all change. I know a lot of people saying the hydration break is a bit of a financial thing for FIFA, but I know the original reason for it. A lot of players were having a lot of medical issues, professional players, and you have to, the game has changed, the environment has changed, pollution, environmental factors. And I think they saw opportunity to monetize it, and you know what? So be it. So be it. My only issue is, those World Cup tickets, man. I think, it's going to get to a point. But then people fill the stadiums. So, people are going to go. People are going to go. So, like I said, we're in a hydration break. Will Neymar get some time in this game? I see he's warming up. The Japanese crowd, they were very euphoric in the first half. Now they are kind of calm. They're chilling. I see a lot of people with those portable fans. I'm guessing it's very hot there. And a perfect opportunity for Japan to restructure. I'm seeing a discussion going on with the coach there. So he's having a discussion with his players. And we're seeing, Paqueta with the plastic wrap on his thigh. So clearly it's maybe a hamstring or a thigh injury. For anybody who follows, injury prevention. So the Brazilian fans are in full swing. I'm seeing a couple of Mexicans in there. So Japan, folks, we have a game, folks. We have a game. And of course, this is the world stage. Brazil are going to want to show that they deserve to be here. And they clearly don't want to be knocked out in the round of 32. I'm supporting Japan. I'm not going to hide that. There's no neutrality here, folks. I'm an Argentina fan. And, I actually am also a legit fan of Japan. I've been following their development. I follow that side of the game. I work as an analyst and so on, for folks who don't know. And I did work on the national team. I worked in a media capacity in the CPL for the Trinbago Knight Riders, for the cricket fans. So I have a pretty interesting range on where I look at the sport compared to maybe the casual fan. I'm not saying anything is wrong with that, but there's a reason why I say what I'm saying. So the hydration break is over, 70th minute. Let's see what instructions were handed out. Japan are definitely going to have some changes to handle those crossing. I don't know what they can really do because, the shape and the physical attributes of the players are going to come in. I'm seeing Jonah has joined. Jonah, welcome. Would appreciate, some shares with the TikTok as well and people on Facebook and YouTube as well. Let me know what's going on. Twitch, everywhere else. Let me know where you are. Brazil trying that combination play, but Japan, while Brazil did have that spot, okay, I was going to say the ref is crazy. I just saw a foul on Japan. Japan are dangerous on the counter-attack. So now, folks, if you all remember, I mentioned in the beginning, when you have a 1-0 lead, the dynamic of the game changes. MD Samrat Hossein, welcome on Facebook. Welcome. So Japan getting a free kick quickly taken, trying to manage the game with some possession, which is a smart thing to do. Because once Brazil gets going and they get that momentum going, you have to be very careful. And we saw what happened. And a bit of a miscommunication there, an attempted through ball, but well read by the Brazilian defense. So Brazil now, you see a similar tactic to this with Real Madrid when Ancelotti was the coach. Not very spectacular, but when they do attack, they can be devastating. They have devastating moments. So Endrick on the ball here, doing well to get the ball out to Vinicius. You can see his confidence a little bit higher. The crowd is roaring for Brazil. Vinicius in his favorite spot. You know which foot he's going on. Perhaps should have shot there. Possibly expecting someone to run in for the pass there. So in this case, he was unselfish, but nobody read it. So I think they're so used to him shooting. Nobody made the run to the far post. But Endrick doing well to release Vinicius there, folks. So Brazil once again, very calm. The game isn't over yet. A lot of experience on this team here. In some cases. So Casemiro, Ancelotti, and these guys may provide that calming influence. My buddy old pal Colin Board is probably at this game. The TKR manager, but also a good friend of Extra Time TV. I think he's at this game. So, he's, once again, Brazil doing a cross and they're raising their hands, appealing for a handball of some kind, which I think is a little bit... I'm a bit annoyed by some of the calls they made. Some of them are ridiculous. For example, let's see. Let's take a look. Yeah, there's no... He's asking for a corner, I hope. Okay, yeah, so let's see how Japan handle these corners because they have not been handling the headers well. You have Marquinhos in there. You have Danilo in there. Casemiro in there. Aerially, I think, as we've seen in the last couple of minutes, that they look a little bit stronger with the headers, but not a very good delivery there. Yes, the commentator said it's a waste, and I think it's a waste, folks. It should have been a better delivery there. I'm trying to see who took that corner. So Brazil, once again, if you're Japan, while I do understand you want to keep your shape, they're not committing players. They are allowing Brazil to come at them, and I'm guessing the game plan is create a counter-attack. But now with the game at 1-1, it's finally balanced. So, for example, the ultimate nightmare for Japan, would be to play this tactic and then concede a goal, and then it opens up the game completely. Because, of course, it's so close to the end. So both teams now, Brazil taking a bit more initiative. You could see that they were looking for the cross, so maybe some instructions. So right now, you can see Japan with a line of 6 across the back and 2 players in front of the line of 6. And I don't know if that's an attempt to stop those diagonal crosses. And with 1 player up front as the attacking outlet. So it's a line of 6, even with the wide players dropping in. And the 2 defensive midfield players. And I don't know if that's an attempt to try to overcrowd and stop the crosses. And I think it's causing Brazil to go back. So interesting dynamic change by Japan. Because now Brazil are not getting into the crossing positions they were getting in, which was just a few meters up front into the box. And it was causing havoc for Japan. So Japan are not pressing past the halfway line. They're allowing Brazil to travel a couple steps forward, but not pressing relentlessly. They're more about closing down the passing lanes. And of course, Brazil now, they have been doing those crosses, so they're trying to get out wide. So Danilo dropping very deep now, which is what Japan would want. And Vinicius with a very good one-time ball into the box. Not a very good delivery, but I understood what Brazil were trying to do. It seems like they almost lull you into a sense of sleep where they slow the game down so much, kind of like how Villarreal used to play in the early 2000s with Pellegrini. And then they attack with speed. It's like they hypnotize you and then they try to attack. So, the game for Japan has clearly petered off a little bit, with Brazil now dominating possession. So people in the Facebook, Twitch, everywhere else, keep the views coming as well. Let me know where you are, where you're watching the game. I know there's a lot of Brazilian fans out there. And I will have a highlight reel as well for this. And if it sounds like my energy levels are a little bit lower than usual, it's because the schedule is taking its toll on me, folks. So I have to pace myself. So we're in the 76th minute. Brazil passing, searching, looking for openings. Japan keeping their defensive shape. Brazil trying to force those openings to get Japan out of their shape. The ball falling kindly to Martinelli. Did not connect well on the shot there and the ball going wide, much to Japan's relief. Japan are now, I think it's an attempt to kind of steady the ship, because Brazil did create, in that spurt of attack, that moment, that episode, Brazil did create 2 chances and easily could have been 3-1 in that moment. So you can see the tension is starting to build. Tanaka is coming on. I'm seeing 2 substitutions for Japan. I can't see the player numbers really well there. So 2 substitutions coming on there. So Tanaka, Hamada is coming off. Tanaka is coming in. So Ito and Kamada coming off. Machino and Tanaka coming on. I hope I got my pronunciation correct. If Lawrence was here, he could have corrected me. So Japan clearly doing some damage control to kind of slow the game down to a comfortable pace. I could understand that as well. You don't want these guys running at you at 100 miles per hour. And Brazil also has to be careful when they're attacking. They don't leave gaps at the back for Japan to exploit. So Getmo is saying this could be extra time. We'll see how it goes. We'll see how it goes, folks. So Danilo with a throw-in. Japan hasn't created any significant attack for maybe the last 10-15 minutes. And I think it's a result of adjusting to Brazil's tactics. Not a very good clearance there by Brazil. A bit risky, but Marquinhos using his experience for the ball that was headed back to get between the player and the ball. Brazil trying to turn on a little bit of flair. For people who like that. So you're seeing the momentum map there, folks. In the yellow, Brazil have turned it on. I'm seeing Endrick. Is it, somebody trying to draw a foul there, but that was very much a long shot there, folks. So folks in the chat got really quiet, folks. Let me know who you think is going to win. Brazil or Japan. It's 1-1, folks. And it's only going to get more and more tense as the tournament goes along. We're in a round of 32, folks. This is where the serious business begins. You lose, you go home. So, it's a very tactical game by both coaches. Ancelotti, as you all know, is a very experienced coach. He probably has that calming influence. Brazil never looked like they were panicking when they were 1-0 down. And I think at halftime, whatever Ancelotti said worked, because Brazil are now back in the game. Brazil now attacking. Well won by Japan. Calling for a foul. Japan trying to be confident and calm with the ball, but Brazil doing enough to force them to get a throw-in. So Japan will probably take the moment to push some players up, take some pressure off. The Japanese fans are in full swing. And folks, these fans of these nations, it's so exciting to see all these different nations and how passionate they are. So Japan passing the ball in the back there. Brazil pressing a little bit more than Japan are doing. And Japan are going to try to exploit those gaps. An attempt to try to release on the wing there, but the execution was not well done from Japan. So once again, if you're Japan, you're not going to be very happy with some of the passing. I'm going to have to lean back a little bit, folks. I am feeling a little bit tired. Folks, I've been working, burning the midnight oil, as I said, to prepare these streams for you all. So I'm leaning back on my little IMAX chairs, the EXTV VIP seats. So people in the TikTok as well. Like I said, I'm monitoring the chat. So everybody in there, drop a comment. Let me know what's going on. I will do a round of 32 reaction. There's some other games today, folks, as well. So you can let me know what you think about those games coming up. Davon, watching the World Cup this year has showed how unprepared Trinidad. Yeah, correct. Welcome, Davon111. Welcome as well. Welcome to the chat. Let me know where in Trinidad are you from, if you are from Trinidad and Tobago. And you're correct. I think If we qualified, maybe we'd have stepped up our preparations. But, you know, it's very possible. Let's say we qualified top of the group, we'd have been playing Germany. And then, you know, if we played the playoff route, you know, even the playoff route was very difficult. So Brazil, once again with crosses, not being dealt with well by Japan. Japan, folks, I think are very content to sit back right now. And I think it's kudos to how Brazil are playing. So, you know, they're starting to take some chances, play with some courage. Once again, a whipped-in ball. So Brazil are not afraid to do those crosses. So for people who are looking for the traditional Brazilian style of play, you know, the dynamic wingbacks coming in and step overs and so on, you can see what's going on. So once again, out wide, trying to get Vinicius involved. You know, Brazil want to get Vinicius running at their players. Vinicius with a cross-field ball. So you can see they're trying to stretch the Japanese defense, folks. So Devon, watching the World Cup. Oh yeah, I just read that comment. I love your profile picture, Devon. Is that your dog? Let me just stretch this shot a little more to make sure I could read what's going on. So I can't take my eyes off. I'm just going to take a quick look at the TikTok and make sure everything is okay. Everything is okay. That's good. Brazil with a ball in, but not meeting anybody. So everybody in the TikTok as well, be sure to support my TikTok. I've been getting some errors. TikTok has been saying, you know, the stream got blocked for a couple seconds. I don't know why. So like I said, I really need my viewers to really jump on board and get those subscribers up, because when it does that, it doesn't push the feed so you all can see it. So 82 minutes, 1-1, folks. Are we going to go to extra time? As it looks, that's how it's going to go, folks. Or are Brazil or Japan going to take a chance and end it before the game is done? It seems like both teams are very cautious. When you're approaching the end of the 90 minutes, folks, you're going to be a bit more cautious at how we approach the game and take your chances selectively. So are Brazil going to take that chance and try to end things in regular time, or Japan? Or are we going to see extra time, folks? In the chat. But you're right, Devon. You're right. Is that a foul? It's a yellow card for Japan. So as I said, folks, I have been burning the midnight oil, preparing these streams for everybody. So my energy levels are a little bit lower than usual. I won't lie to you. So I really appreciate the support coming in there. So Suzuki getting a yellow card for a foul there. And like I said, folks, you know, Brazil with a free kick in a dangerous position, not because of the direct possibility, but Brazil have shown crosses and deliveries from this area has been causing Japan's problems. So I'm Devon. I'm from Trinidad, temporarily living in New Zealand for school. Oh, nice. I'd love to visit New Zealand one day. I met a lot of people from New Zealand when I worked at TKR. Brendan McCollum, who was the coach of TKR and former player for TKR. I think he's currently coaching England right now. Colin Monroe from TKR as well. Tim Seifert. But anyway, free kick for Brazil. 84th minute. This could be a problem for Japan. And it was headed over the bar by Hendrick. So they're saying it's a corner. It looked like Hendrick headed the ball over the bar. That's a very bizarre call. Let's see the replay there. Crossed in. Oh no, it was a Japanese player. My bad. I was wrong. My eyes deceived me. So a corner for Brazil, folks. And folks, I'm going to be very honest. Brazil have been strong with the headers. You have Casemiro in there. You have Marquinhos in there. You have, I'm guessing, you know, Martinelli as well. Hendrick is not known for his headers. So let's see how they handle it. Vinicius is free on the far post. A low delivery. Brazil still have possession. Vinicius out wide. Across again. Is he going to cross? A Brazilian player is down in the box. Vinicius in the box, taking on his man. Once again, they are going for that cross on the far post. A player is down, folks. I think it's Martinelli. Grabbing his eye. So he seems to be, let's see if we get a replay and see what happened. Adjusting for the ball in the box. So there was a 50-50 ball jumping in the air. I could see some people arguing that's a foul, but I don't think it is. But I could see why some people could argue for that. So when I'm done today, folks, I'm going to do those predictions. I'm going to give myself a nice rest. And a lot of people are complimenting me on my jacket. So I'm glad you like it. It's from Adidas. So folks, let me know where you are and where you're watching the game. And how do you think this is going to go? Brazil, 85th minute. Japan, 1. Brazil 1. Is the ref looking at it? That would be a brutal call if it's a penalty now, folks. I think it's very harsh if it is. Is it? Okay, no, it's not. If I was a Japanese fan, I would have been very furious. So people, I know there's a lot of Devon. Who are you supporting? Like I said, Devon. Don't forget to subscribe, Devon. When you like, subscribe, share, and subscribe, and like, subscribe, and share to the channel and all its socials, you automatically qualify for prizes: a jersey of your choice, a chance to win a jersey of your choice, club or country, and also a copy of EAFC 27, and also other prizes as well. So whipped in. Japan look like they want to see the game out and maybe rely on counterattacks. They haven't been able to string together a series of passes. If you looked at the momentum map, Brazil, through ball by Endrick, keeper coming out well to read the ball. Perhaps should have cleared it higher up the pitch, but he cleared it out to the side there to get throw in for Brazil. So, if you're a fan of Brazil and Japan, the tension probably is starting to build now. Japan have not really created any sort of meaningful attacks in the last 20 minutes or so, and I think that is by design. I think they saw how Brazil was starting to get goal-scoring chances. Brazil did get one ball hitting the post and one coming off the line, and of course Casemiro getting that goal. And uncharacteristically from crosses and so on, and Vinicius with a individual run. That's the thing about players like Vinicius. They just need one moment in the game to cause some problems. One moment as well. So my smartwatch is telling me time to stand. So I'm stretching, folks. I'm stretching. As you can see there, folks. I'm in my all Adidas kits. I'm stretching as people are telling me to do. You're probably seeing me offline. So I'm getting some circulation. Yes. Stretching. So, folks, Brazil again with another free kick. On the right side. So Japan, in the last 20 minutes, have been defending a lot of set pieces and have not created much offensively. So clearly it's locked things down. Not well cleared. Ball falling to Brazil on top of the box there. Out to Vinicius. Overlapping run. Vinicius cutting inside on his favored foot. And another corner, folks. So Brazil are now turning the screws. Vinicius trying to rile up the crowd. I personally think he should focus on the game, but, hey, that's how they roll. I don't think the Brazil fans, I have the volume a little bit low down, so I can't hear them. So, there's people there, they could let me know what's going on. So a short corner. Once again, this cross has been working for them. So I understand why they would keep trying it. But so far, Japan seem to have kind of stemmed that tide. Vinicius in that dangerous area once again. Cutting into the box, cutting in and out. Japan doing well to contain, but the ball falling kindly back to Vinicius. But then the double team, eventually Vinicius doing well to get the ball back. I think Japan was trying to play for a foul. So Vinicius doing well to win the ball back and draw a foul. So perhaps fatigue is stepping in for Japan, folks, because they look like they are a bit tired. Vinicius whipping the ball in. And an excellent save there by Japan. So Japan, I think maybe perhaps their gas is running a little bit low. And Brazil are kind of turning things on now. So can Brazil snatch it? Very neat ball out to the right side. Japan beating his man very easily. Japan are going to want to try to make an effort from this, but a very weak cross in the end. Falling kindly to Japan. So Japan are going to want to take advantage of this bout of possession. Calm things down, catch their breath. The temptation to attack now and get the winner is there. Taking on his man in the box, Danilo, 1v1. Low cross, well dealt by Marquinhos. And a throw in for Japan. So Japan are going to want to, just like Brazil, be very careful because they have been on the back foot for a long time, folks. And you could see breathing through the mouth, classic sign of fatigue. Casemiro is also on the floor. It's not a good sign if you're a Brazil fan. You want your best players fit. He is on the older side. Perhaps it's strategic. These veterans know when to kind of milk a couple sessions. So he's using his experience there. Perhaps to kind of get a couple minutes in there, see how they have. So Ancelotti is discussing tactics with his players there, folks. So Devon and everybody else as well. MD Deloa, welcome on Facebook as well. So like I said, folks, I'm seeing people following as well. Brazil. Fabinho is coming on. So clearly that's a substitution for Casemiro. Brazil fans, what do you think about that substitution for that call-up of Fabinho. A lot of people weren't very happy with that. So you could let me know your thoughts on that. So Japan, it's 6 minutes of extra time. And if you're Japan, that feels like probably 6 years. And I think it's a clash of styles, folks. Japan clearly have a disciplined game plan and they're sticking with it. So let's see how it goes, folks. Let's see how it goes. And all you Brazil fans, like I said, I know I didn't announce this stream. I'm not just doing Argentina games, folks. I'll be doing as much as possible and I will be trying to pace myself. And of course, I'll have my social media team helping me out. I had to recruit some people. So you can let me know as well. So I'm forwarding this to a couple people as well. So Brazil, 1. Japan, 1. Brazil having, I would say, the better of the chances in this half. Japan barely creating anything. It seems like Casemiro is holding his groin area, so it looks like a groin injury. If you're Brazilian fans, you're hoping, if you progress in this tournament, you want to make sure your players are fit. So he's coming off very slowly. Being applauded by his players, the Japanese. So you've seen a contrast in emotion. Brazil looking kind of excited. Japanese fans look a bit pensive, a bit worried. So Casemiro off, Fabiano on. Former Liverpool man, he's now playing in Saudi Arabia, I think. So wow, this game, folks. That's probably going to add on maybe extra 60 seconds to the extra time. So Japan, folks, do they attack? Folks, should Brazil attack? Should Japan attack? Or should they see out the half, regroup, and go into extra time? I'm seeing a stretcher on his sideline. Is Casemiro on his stretcher? That's not a good sign. And that's one of the criticisms people got for getting Casemiro. Wow. The ball falling kindly to Endrick here. Could Brazil nail it at the death here? Can Endrick be the hero for Brazil? Taking on his man. But Japan doing well to get on that, folks. And Endrick of maybe a year ago would not have had the confidence to do that. So, Japan doing well to force a corner, but now there's a corner. And I don't know if this is a dangerous game Japan is playing sitting back. It kind of reminds me of the Scotland tactic. They don't seem to be able to... I don't know if it's a choice, but they can't seem to physically cope for the last couple minutes. And that's kudos to Brazil with a lot of players in the box. Marquinhos, Fabiano, Endrick. Let's see if it's cleared. On the header for Fabinho, but now safely over the bar. Goal kick for Japan, and they're going to be relieved about that. They can now get a moment to catch their breath. And it seems as if the physicality of the game is getting to Japan now. So we are approaching the 4th minute of extra time. Injury time, if you want to call it that. And we are likely heading to extra time. But who knows, folks? Can Brazil snatch a late winner? Can Japan snatch a late winner, folks? Folks, we're 1-1. And can Japan snatch a late winner? Can Brazil snatch a late winner? Do they take chances or do they just continue? Do they just continue and play it out and just regroup? So Brazil not attacking recklessly. Japan keeping their shape. 5 at the back right now. With Japan doubling up on the wings. So forcing Brazil to try to go through the middle. Which in the old days, that would not have been a problem when you had players like Kaká and Ronaldinho and Rivaldo and these guys. Danielson. But you could see the Ancelotti influence. You can see the Ancelotti influence. So Brazil, playing a very patient game, almost lulling Japan to sleep, hypnotizing them, and then attacking with speed in very brief moments. And, playing intelligently here. So combination play, as I said, folks, very slow, and then they turn it up. Combination play on top of the box. But Endrick muscled off. Japan with a bad giveaway there. Once again, the physicality seems to be getting the... Could this be the winner? Brazil! Brazil snatched it in the dying moments, folks. In the dying moments, Brazil snatched it. Martinelli in the end there. With less than 60 seconds to go, folks. Japan are going to be very unhappy with that terrible giveaway. That is a terrible giveaway. And honestly, folks, based on the momentum, Brazil, I think I would have to say on the balance of play, deserve to get the victory in the end here. And I would have to say Japan, they are not going to be happy with themselves with that goal there. It was a definite giveaway, a stupid giveaway. They tried to be cheeky in the back there instead of just clearing the ball with a couple seconds to go. And, the tactic of being different. So we saw when Brazil snatched the ball. Beautiful pass. He is onside. Martinelli doing well to beat the offside trap and put the nail in the coffin for Japan fan, folks. So, I was supporting Japan, but kudos to Brazil. A lethal finish. And this is Ancelotti ball, folks. This is Ancelotti football. This is what they do. They slowed things down to the point where it was so slow and then created that quick attack. And Japan, hearts broken. Players, faces in hand. And I think, honestly, Japan, kind of deserved. I honestly think Japan should have done better. They stepped back, trying to go for extra time. And I think in the end there, Brazil snatching it from Japan in the end there. Unless there's a miraculous goal there, Japan were physically on the ropes. Brazil was not even in their first game, and you could see Japan was struggling. I think they were trying to be too cheeky. And a classic example, folks, when you have the ball in that area so close to the end, sometimes this simple ball works. Just get the ball out. Brazil made them pay. So Japan making a substitution. Ogawa coming on. I don't know what Brazil can do now, folks. The other Danilo coming on for Brazil. I think it's a little too late now for Brazil. And Brazil are happy now. And they would now secure their place in the round of 16. I'll be doing my bracket after the game, folks. So Brazil, I think Brazil did enough, folks. I didn't see enough from Japan in the end there. Bruno coming off for Danilo Santos. So Brazil snatching the result in the end there. Not the traditional Brazil that you all would expect, but effective, getting the result. So Japan, I think it's a little too late now. The Brazilian players on the sideline gesturing for the ref to blow the whistle. Japan should have been doing this before. All the player had to do was clear the ball. And, now a long ball out wide. Japan are going to have to just be desperate now and whip the ball in the box. And Brazil doing what Japan should have done, just clearing the ball out. Neymar smiling on the sideline. And like I said, Brazil getting that effective throw-in. Brazil milking it as much as possible, as you should. Candace saying Chris Goatmore and said he will score, and he scored. So Brazil here snatching it in the end there, folks. Snatching it in the end. And of course, I will have a couple of minutes of chatting here. And I think this may be the end. Is this the end? It's a free kick for Brazil. So Japan, the coach, I think, got it wrong in the end there. He tried to resort to defensive tactics, and now they are out. I think if they kept possession like they were doing earlier in the game, higher up the pitch, as you can see where Japan didn't clear the ball, and I think it was a pass on Bruno in the end. And like I said, nail in the coffin for Japan, folks. Brazil 2, Japan 1. Goal from Martinelli and Casemiro. And I think Brazil have done enough here, folks. I don't think Japan have enough time to react. I would be absolutely flabbergasted if Japan get a goal now. I don't think they have enough time. I think, Japan, I think that fall. But Japan, just like Scotland, I think they got it wrong. They can't be upset. They took too long to attack. I think they decided to lock things up at the back, and they messed up. So the Japanese fans will be heartbroken right now. Naturally, I don't think there's enough time. That fall falling in Brazil's favor. Japan are claiming it's a foul. But, that's it. I think Japan is done. R9 and a lot of Brazilian legends in the crowd there in the VIP box. So Alisson pushing his players up as they should. And I think this is a combination. I think this game is in Houston. So I think at any minute, Roblox Gamer Boy, Japan, I think Japan blew this game 20 minutes ago when they decided to sit back and just allow. They were having very solid possession. And at any minute, this whistle is going to blow. Brazilian fans are going to want this whistle to blow at any point in time. Japan, it's now 10 minutes, and I think that's when Casemiro came off, so they can't really be too mad about that. So Japan not getting a chance, and Brazil doing enough not to get Japan enough of a chance to even get the ball into the box. So the ref giving a throw-in to Japan. Is it? I can't tell what's going on. This ref looks confused. So it's a throw-in for Japan. There's a Japanese official on the field. What is he doing? So Japan. Is that it? And a win for Brazil, folks. Full time. Brazil breaking Japan's hearts at the end of this game. Getting the result. that you need to get to the round of 16. Even though Japan scored first, Brazil getting the victory at the end, and I would say deservedly so, even though I wanted Japan to win. I think the coach got it wrong in the end. Instead of keeping that possession, they sat back in the box there and allowed Brazil to take them out in the end. Roblox Gamer Boy welcomes everybody in the chat as well. What do you think? I know there's a lot of people supporting Japan in there. So Brazil getting that result. So I'm going to do a reaction to the... I'm going to do my round of 32 predictions after. So Gabriel Martinelli, the Arsenal man, and Casemiro in the dying minutes of the game. And Japan have their hearts broken. And I think, folks, let's be honest. Let's have that 10-minute chat I usually have. Chat. Japan blew this game, folks. I think Japan could have definitely got something from this game. But, congratulations to Brazil. They're getting the results they need. And as the people say, it's not how you start, but how you finish. Japan got it wrong, folks. They got it wrong. Brazil started, the first half, Japan looked the stronger team, more effective, but then they started to cross balls in there, and it caused Japan problems. They did create signs of scoring goals, hitting the post, hitting the bar, and then Japan had some problems dealing with those crosses. But instead of taking the game to Brazil and maybe managing the possession a little bit better, they were giving away the ball. Brazil were creating chances after corner after corner after corner after free kick. And instead of just clearing the ball in the end, they tried to be cheeky and pass the ball. And in the end, Brazil made them pay. I think in the end, a little bit of complacency in the end there by Brazil, folks. So folks in the chat, James, everybody in TikTok as well. I usually chat for a little while, but I'm a little bit tired, so I won't chat as much today. So like I said, folks, everybody, Brazil 2. Well, let me stop my clock. My clock is still running. So that's the full time. Full time, folks. Full time. So let me just stop that really quickly, folks. So Brazil snatching victory at the end there from Japan. I have to say, I am disappointed in Japan. Roblox, Gamer Boy, Candice, Devon, everybody else. Like I said, folks, a very interesting game. Not a very spectacular game, a very tactical game. I think Japan, for the most part, had a great account for themselves. It's the reverse of the result against in the friendly. And Brazil winning when it matters, folks. Brazil winning when it matters in the knockout stages. So I will be doing my bracket. And as soon as the stream is done, I'm going to do the bracket. A lot of people have been asking me to do a watch along for the other games. It does take a lot of energy, folks. But once you guys are supporting and watching, I will do it. For the round of 16, I'll be doing some. I'll also be heading to Miami as well to be in the middle of the mix. Like I said, folks, I did feel a little bit down today. I didn't get much sleep. My energy levels are a little bit low. So everybody in the TikTok, YouTube, Facebook, drop your comments. What do you think about the game? Are Brazil going to get that 5th star? A lot of people are saying that, with Neymar. A lot of people are criticizing the call-ups. People in my TikTok as well. Be sure to send those likes as well and those follows. And like I said, folks, let me know your thoughts on this game. What do you think about Brazil? What do you think about Japan? What do you think about the round of 32? What do you think about Brazil's performance? While they won, it was not the most impressive performance, but I would describe it as an effective performance. A team that could attack and maybe take it to Brazil may cause it some problems, like a team like France and so on, Colombia. We'll see. Not taking anything away. They got the result when it matters, and that's all that matters. And, Ancelotti's an experienced coach, folks. They got the result in the end. So, like I said, folks, for those of you that are still in here on Facebook, YouTube, Twitch, and on, why am I forgetting the other one? YouTube, Facebook, Twitch, and TikTok. Be sure to like, subscribe, and share. In the share screen below, you can see all the socials. It really helps the channel. You can purchase merch. You could go to our Streamlabs below and be sure to support us. You could also do chat donations as well for the people that can. And continue to check us out on EXTV Media where we have our predictions. We have a wonderful partnership with SuperScore. We will be doing our matchday recaps. And as well, pacing myself, James will be returning as well to help me out with that. And of course, check out all the social media for our social media content. We're trying to get to that 10,000 subscriber mark, folks. Not just on YouTube, but on Instagram, TikTok, Twitch, everywhere else. And you can also follow me on Instagram as well on my personal. So Roblox 36-32 Brazil performance was unconvincing, but they was effective with the win at the end. Correct. That's exactly how I described it to Roblox. Effective, but not spectacular. And Japan, I saw when Japan tactically lost the game when Brazil started crossing those balls in and got the equalizer. I mean, kudos to Brazil. They started to turn things on, but Japan could have kept the ball a little bit better, but they didn't. And I think also physically, it seemed as if Japan were kind of running out of gas in the end there. But that giveaway in the end, so close to the end, Japan, that defender is going to have nightmares, folks. He's going to have nightmares about that. He just had to clear the ball. That's where the experience came in, folks. That's where the experience came in. So we do have a lot of knockout matches coming up. I know some people have been asking me to do the watch-alongs with the other games, and I will try my best. We are definitely doing the Argentina games as well. I will try to do one a day, and then when James comes back, we'll probably do 2 a day. We'll have Kenwin Jones coming back. We'll have James Baird coming back. We'll have former England international Terry Fenwick, who played against Maradona, coming back, and a couple other guests as well. So folks, let me know what you think about the tournament so far. And like I said, continue to subscribe and follow, and let me know your comments. I will chat for maybe 2, 3, 4 minutes. And people in the Facebook as well. The last stream, folks, got over 10,000 views, and it's growing. The stream before that got 15,000. The other stream before that got 35,000. And of course, we're trying to get the viewership up as well and get everybody in as well. We really appreciate that. The Scotland watch-alongs did really well on YouTube. Over 2,000 as well. So, folks, we also had an England watch-along. And we don't just do watch-alongs, folks. We do reactions. We do wrap-ups. We have people like ESPN FC, Shaka Hislop coming on. We will have Sofa Scores, Gaston Hoffman. We will probably get, Tom Saint-Feet, who has been coaching in the AFCON, in the last AFCON, to give me his insight into the AFCON nations as well. Let me know the team that surprised you. Let me know the team that you think is going to win. And I think now the real World Cup has begun. The real World Cup has begun. So, everybody as well, folks. We're primarily based in Trinidad and Tobago, so one more thing before we go, be sure to scan that QR code there. That will give you access to our WhatsApp broadcast group, which gives you notification and updates for people who want to know what's going on. And like I said, before you go, folks, click that subscribe button. I'd really appreciate that. So I'm seeing so far Argentina and France playing the best football so far along in Morocco. Yeah, I think so. Of course, as an Argentina fan, I am very careful about what I say. I'm very highly critical. I suffer with each game. I take no game for granted. A lot of people saying it's an easy bracket. And there are no easy games, folks. They came top of their group. That's how the bracket fell. And I am not taking any game lightly as an Argentina fan. I've been watching football way too long. I'm not one of those fans that's going to say that's an easy game. Because it's not. It's not. You have to go and win the game. Look at the Brazil game today, folks. So Brazil, Seleção, won the game today, folks, 2-1. Let me know your thoughts in the comment section below. I'm going to wrap things up in a little while. And before I go, I want to let you all know the song that you hear at the beginning and the end of this live watch-along. It's from 2 local artists, Nigel Rojas and Sun Syndicate. 2 local artists, Syndicate, known for producing some wonderful hits from Trinidad and Tobago. And we may have them on for, maybe some performances. And if you like that song, that's just a teaspoon of the song. Maybe the next time we'll play it at halftime. What do you all think? A lot of people want to hear the entire song. So I'm seeing Junior has come on the TikTok as well. Like I said, folks, my TikTok got a little bit of an error, so everybody's joining in as well. Let me know what you think about the upcoming games. I think Germany is playing today as well. Germany, Paraguay, and a couple other games as well. So I will be wrapping up a bit quicker than usual today, folks. So I'll be doing my round of 32 wrap up in a couple moments. So stay tuned for that. It'll be on TikTok. Should I do it live? I don't know. We already know Brazil are through, Canada are through to the round of 16. So that being said, folks, I'm going to wrap things up. Everybody in the Facebook, TikTok as well. If you haven't done so far, be sure to follow, like, subscribe, head over to extvmedia.com, YouTube community as well. Keep your comments coming. Let us know your thoughts. Don't just subscribe, but let us know your thoughts, comments, and suggestions. Do you like the stream? What do you want to see? Is there a game that you want me to see as well? Let me know, folks. Let me know, folks. So with that being said, folks, I'm going to wrap things up there. It's been an absolute pleasure. And I will be now going to do my round of 32 predictions, folks. So everybody as well, keep the streams going, share. And I really appreciate that. And I'm going to rest. So, folks, I'm going to play that song. And it's been an absolute pleasure. Take a listen to that song, Champions, from Nigel Rojas and Sun Syndicate. Take a listen, folks.